Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League with blue-black mid-range control. We're playing tons of creatures. We've got 4 Nethergoyfs here, very strong beater from Modern Horizons 3. We've got Tamiyo, a creature that generates value and flips into a planeswalker that costs 1 blue mana. Ridiculous value for 1 blue mana. We've got, of course, 4 Psychic Frog. We have an Emperor of Bones, which is great against graveyard strategies, and it can also be really strong against decks like Painter. And we have 2 Baleful Strix. So Baleful Strix is an addition that I wanted to have additional artifacts to feed the Goyf, and I also think that this card is very good right now because Orcish Bowmasters has largely been relegated to sideboard card, if it's even in sideboards. We're playing 4 of them out of respect for control decks, but a lot of people aren't. So Baleful Strix can come out and fly again. Let's talk about the rest of this deck. So this is a pretty typical tempo deck in the sense that it has 3 Wastelands, 3 Dazes, no Stifles, no strong commitment to tempo, but we have that as a plan. Sometimes we can apply pressure and we can potentially just put a Nethergoyf into play, protect her until she goes all the way, protect that queen. We also have built-in graveyard hate in the form of now Spellbomb, and we have, of course, 4 Force Wills and 2 Thoughtseizes, which gives us some degree of control even in round 1 against combo decks. Speaking of combo, we have some additional cards in our sideboard that are very strong against combo. We've got a couple Force of Negations. We've got some Consigned to Memory. This is also very good against Eldrazi and 12 Post. And, of course, we have Harbinger of the Seas, which can punish greedy mana bases. Also very good against 12 Post and Eldrazi. And we have Toxic Deluge, which can wipe the board. It will probably not kill our creatures because aside from Baleful Strix, all of our creatures are going to be fairly beefy. And we have a Long Goodbye just as another answer to Frog or a Flip Tamiyo. Very good card right now. We also have a Powder Keg, which can blow up artifact lands and chalices and lots of other permanents that Stompy decks can put into play. So this is my spin on blue-black tempo mid-range. I could definitely see someone saying, this isn't really a mid-range deck. I mean, the most expensive creature in your deck is a 2-mana creature, right? And traditionally, mid-range has been like 3 drops and even 4 drops. But I think the format is so fast right now. So many people are playing Wasteland. So many people are playing Eldrazi and decks that like just jump forward very quickly up their curve and start slamming, Sowing Mycospawn, which is basically a double Stone Rain that you can't counter. That I think it's very hard to play 3 drops. We are playing technically Brazen Borrower, which is a 3 drop. I went down to 1 Brazen Borrower because I feel like Brazen Borrower's main purpose is bouncing Murktides back into hand and occasionally dealing with other evasive threats, and Baleful Strix is very strong at that. So we'll see how it shapes up, but I love this blue-black archetype just in general. I think it's got all the right tools. The fact that it has Tamiyo and Psychic Frog as kind of card draw engines that can also just win the game. Very strong. All right. So as always, we're going to play 5 rounds of this Legacy League. I encourage you to comment with a timestamp if you see me make a play that you don't understand or you think is incorrect. Absolutely. I'll never shoot the messenger. I always welcome feedback. I'm playing to get better. I'm not a pro level player. So do not take everything I do as gospel. Just try to learn from the situations I get in and watch whether what I attempt to do works out or whether it blows up in my face. That's the real goal of this channel, is learning. So I'll see you in round 1. All right. We're up for round 1 against Vastinho, unknown opponent. And we've got a pretty good hand. I think being on the play, we have Tamiyo with Daze to potentially protect her. We have Brainstorm next turn. So we have 2 options. One, we could go ahead and Underground Sea, and then we could have Brainstorm up to serve as a protection so we don't have to Daze. But I actually like just playing her out because we can Daze next turn either way. I'm going to keep this, and we're going to go ahead and send in the Tamiyo. Even if they have Wasteland or something like that, we have a backup land. So I feel like this is a nice redundant hand. Right? Tamiyo comes down and we pass. All right, they drop a Seed of the Synod into Mishra's Bauble. It's looking like some sort of 8-cast strategy, which will be much easier to deal with after we've boarded in our powerful Bowmasters. Bowmasters is one of the reasons that this 8-cast deck kind of fell out of favor. The other being Vexing Bauble, which we don't have access to, but is something that opponents can expect. All right, I definitely think we go ahead and create a clue, and I am planning to flip because I've got some redundant cards I want to put back. Daze is not the strongest against their deck because they are a stompy deck and they may have access to Ancient Tomb. So let's go ahead and brainstorm here and hope to hit a fetch land. We don't hit a fetch land, but it's not like we found bad lands. So this is not a pure tempo deck, so I'm not going to waste here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save that wasteland and use it on most likely a Mishra or an Urza Saga. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and put back, I guess I'll put back the wasteland. I can draw it next turn, and I'll put back the Ponder. Tamiyo flips. I'm going to use her ability. I'm going to play another Underground Sea. I'm going to play my Bauble out, and I'll pass. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and Bauble now. They're bobbling me. That's fine. So they're going to see the, are they going to see the wasteland I put on top? No, I think I put another Brainstorm on top. Or a Ponder. Patchwork Automaton. Okay. That is kind of a scary permanent. But Tamiyo can debuff it, and it will take a lot for Patchwork Automaton to race Tamiyo. Also, if they just play it out without any sort of mana acceleration, I'll probably just daze it. Okay, there's the Urza Saga that we can wasteland. Okay, I'm just going to daze this. I can daze, and the next turn I can waste the Urza Saga. And Tamiyo's just going to start running away with this because she'll keep going up. I'm trying to think if they have anything in their deck that can get rid of her. I would love for them to force this, if that's what they're thinking about. Okay, goes through. Bauble. They're going to see the wasteland. All right. And you may be asking, why bother daze that when we've got a fatal push? But I really need to waste this next turn. Constructs are extremely dangerous against this deck. Like, they can make better use of constructs than pretty much any deck. So here's our wasteland. So I am going to go ahead and just waste now. There are situations where you could like waste the other land and then they could go down to 0 land potentially, but I don't think it's worth the risk because those constructs will be an ordeal, and I don't have any dress down anywhere in my entire 75. I think they're unlikely to do stuff here that disrupts me. I think I'm just going to Ponder. What I would like to find would be a Force of Will. Oh, there's a Force of Will and another Nethergoyf. I think these are great. So I'll take the Force now. And then I have a second form of interaction. All right, my opponent had another land, but as far as I can tell, they don't have an Ancient Tomb. They're just drawing through a lot of baubles, which is one of the downsides of playing that deck is that, you know, you draw a lot of baubles and stuff. I'm fine with letting them draw a couple cards here. The main thing is I just want to choke them on mana. Pithing Needle is something that can stop Tamiyo's ultimate. I'm not sure what else we really need to worry about here, though. Okay, they're passing to end step. So we're going to draw. I'm going to play out Nethergoyf this turn. They can potentially bounce it back to my hand, which is not a big deal. All right, here comes Nethergoyf. And we are going to plus Tamiyo. I feel like we can afford to be assertive. I don't think they have any haste creatures in their deck, but they probably do have Lava Spur Boots. So that's one reason to get Nethergoyf out there, just to serve as a wall for Tamiyo for a turn. So I'm not going to counter anything that doesn't directly stop Tamiyo. Thought Monitor is fine. So if you look at how many cards they have that have caused card draw. Like there's another one. I do think it's fine to do this here, since they're basically giving it to me. All right. Well, we are going to ultimate now. I don't think I should play a land before I ultimate because I might want to start wasting them. Is that true? I'm going to go ahead and ultimate. Yeah, I'll ultimate now. All right. So we have a ton of cards in hand. I think we could start by just Thoughtseizing their good cards and then attacking them. Thoughtseize will make... No, it won't make it any bigger. The other option is to just play out the Psychic Frog, which is basically a wall that they'll never be able to attack through. I think that that's also fine. Let's count our forces. We have 1 force, 2 force, 3 force. Okay, we've got tons of forces. I'm not even going to bother fetching. I'm just going to go ahead and play this out. Black, blue, frog. Now I will go to combat. They can definitely bounce the frog back, but that only buys them 1 turn. And I'm totally fine if they use their spell bomb to try to protect their Thought Monitor. The Thought Monitor is most likely going to try to attack Tamiyo here. Okay, Ancient Tomb. Patchwork. I mean, that is kind of a pain to counter or to deal with. I think we can afford to force it. I'll just pitch a backup Tamiyo. They're low enough in life from the Ancient Tomb that I have 23 cards in my hand, 24 cards in my hand. I can't remember which. Yeah, 24 cards in my hand. Here's the Thought Monitor. I mean, I could just counter this too. I'm not sure if it's excessive to do so, but I just want to clear the path for a quick Psychic Frog kill. This is fine. They can't cast any of the spells they're going to draw here. Unless I'm missing something. Maybe they haven't played a land for turn. Okay, so if they attack, I will jump the frog. Okay, they're not going to attack. All right, unfortunately... Wait, do we have Brazen Borrower? We can just borrow that back to hand. I'm fine with winning over 2 turns. Okay, so I think I'm going to start by just Thoughtseizing them. Okay, they had nothing in hand. They've got... Yeah, so Otawara is worth noting. I'm just going to attack with both of these, and I expect them to bounce the frog. I'm not going to commit a lot of resources to the frog. They're just letting it through, which is fine. There's not really any need to pitch any cards here. I'll draw my card. Again, like this might feel like it's totally within their right to not concede here, but I think taking the Tomb does shut off some of their options. And then I'll just deploy another Goyf. And you could definitely argue like, oh, if you just deployed like both Goyfs, you would definitely have them dead on board. Do I have another Goyf? I don't actually have another Goyf. Okay, so their Thought Monitor can potentially attack my Tamiyo if they like. Again, this game is very much over in my opinion. It's just a matter of not screwing the game up. So I have 1 force left in case they have like some emergency draw. I don't have an easy way to get rid of Thought Monitor though. So I may need to kill over 2 turns. And I apologize if there's like some lethal in my hand that I totally missed. I could definitely see playing out a second frog there, for example. Emery, considering that this is their only card for the turn, I think it's fine to force this. Okay. All right, so I'm going to attack. They have the ability to bounce 1. I don't really care about Tamiyo doing stuff anymore. I'm just going to get this force back. Just in case I need it for some reason. Okay. And now, these are 5/6, so this should be a lethal attack. I wish I could get... Oh, yeah. So what I can do is I can just bounce the Thought Monitor out of play, and then it'll be a lethal attack even... Well, no, it won't necessarily be a lethal attack. But their hand is like 3 lands right now. Okay, they conceded finally. All right. Because what they could have done is they could have spell bombed to bounce one of the Nether Goyfs and survived another turn. I mean, that took a lot of clock, just trying to play correctly and not screw it up somehow. So I think these come in for sure. These are great against them. Powder Keg also comes in. They have lots of artifact lands that we can destroy. I don't think Consign is good enough. Long Goodbye can kill a... it can kill a lot of stuff. How is Ward worded? MTG Ward. Okay, so This includes, so it basically counters it, right? Whenever a permanent, counter it. Okay, so this means that Longabai is good here because it can get around ward. So those are the cards I'd bring in. The cards I'm taking out, I think, are the 3 Dazes here. And you could make an argument for taking Emperor of Bones out, but it is recursive graveyard interaction. Because they're likely a Chalice deck, I'm kind of tempted to take out some of my 1-drops. I don't know about taking out Fatal Push, but it is pretty weak here. I think we could take out at least 1 Fatal Push. So that leaves us with 2 more substitutions we have to make. I do think Baleful Strix is good here. I don't want to take out Force just because one of the cards they have in their deck that can just solo you is... I don't really want to take out Nal Spellbomb either. I think I take out the Thoughtseize because they're an aggro deck. Yeah, I'll take those out. I feel like that's correct, especially on the draw. I might bring them back in for on the play. I don't know about Toxic Deluge. My thinking is their creatures are generally way too big, and I would be paying tons of life, and I may not even have life to pay. So I think I'm going to go like this. Orcish Bowmaster should pull a lot of weight here. So we're all the way up to 20 creatures, which is a ton of creatures. So my hope is that we at least can gun with the board and prevent them from being able to attack for lethal. All right. This hand does have Tamiyo. It has land. This completely collapses to a Chalice on 1. I'm going to mulligan it. This is much better. I think we put the Undercity Sewer back. They don't generally wasteland, so I think we can, and we can basically play on non-basics. I'm trying to think of a card that they've ever played that has been anti-non-basic. They themselves, I think, only play like 1 or 2 basic islands in their entire deck. All right, Emry. So Emry is extremely powerful. They can use it as a cantrip every turn. I'm going to force this. Psychic Frog is a blue card. It pitches to force. I think we force here. All right. Hopefully that blunts some of their initial aggression. Slows them down a little bit. Considering our current board state, I feel like Tamiyo, if we put it out, they might prioritize forcing it or somehow interacting with it. Whereas Nethergoyf can come out later. So I'm going to start with Tamiyo. We can't protect her, but again, if she draws removal, which their deck doesn't have a lot of removal, but they might have Dismember. Blue is not famous for its removal, but Dismember can be played in any color. I don't particularly like the card in the sense that I think it violates the color pie, but yeah, it's not like they're going to ban it. Right, they're thought casting, which is good that they're doing this now before my Bowmaster. It's good for them that they're doing it before I Bowmaster. Okay, Petal. They've got a lot of mana, a lot of artifacts. So the card I was thinking that they can solo us is the Blastoise. I'm trying to remember the actual name, but we always call him Blastoise at my LGS. The turtle that has improvise. It has shroud and like can't be blocked and stuff. It's really nasty. Longabai is a great pickup here. I'm just going to attack and I'll hold up the ability to Longabai or Bowmasters here. They do have a bobble here. They have 2 bobbles and they may crack them. All right, they're not cracking their bobbles, which makes me think they may have Blastoise. Kappa Cannoneer, that's the name of the card. This is fine. I can Longabai this. Let's see what they get in their graveyard. Soul Guide Lantern, Patchwork Automaton. We're definitely going to have to get rid of this. I do want to Bowmasters and surprise them. So I'm going to go ahead and fetch, and I'm just going to Longabai now. All right, we've dealt with 2 of their 4 Emrys. Feeling pretty good. Let's see if they get antsy and crack some baubles. They do have the ability to Aether Spellbomb, but that would cost them a Petal. All right, they're not cracking baubles. Land would be good. Ha, yes. All right, I'm just going to attack with Tamiyo. And you know what? I think I am going to go ahead and deploy this Nethergoyf. It's a 2/3. It'll grow. Then we hold up the ability to either deploy an Orcish Bowmaster or crack a clue. The great thing about this deck is even though it's kind of like a tempo deck, it always has good use for this mana because of Tamiyo. You've almost always got stuff you can do with your mana mid-game. All right, they're holding their baubles. Okay. Thought Monitor. All right, I'm going to go ahead and crack here. We get an Underground Sea. I'm going to attempt a Bowmaster. They may have, well, they don't have a Force, but they could have a Metallic Rebuke, which is a soft permission spell. Or they can tap artifacts to cast it. All right, we're going to ping them. I suspect they'll probably bounce it back to our hand. They might just bounce the army after all these. Yeah, they're bouncing it now. That's fine. So unfortunately, that does mean that they get the cards and I can't ping them. All right. But we do get our Orc army, and our Nethergoyf is already bigger than their Thought Monitor, so we'll definitely be able to swing in. But it feels great to like have psychologically just have them know that they're never going to be able to safely crack these baubles. They're cracking now, so I think they must have drawn a Force. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense to crack these now because I can just hit them in the upkeep. But I'm still going to hit them in the upkeep. If they counter, it'll be a card in my graveyard that buffs my Nethergoyf. And they cracked out of oh no, wait, they still have Opal on. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and Bowmaster's upkeep. And we'll see what they use to, like whether they want to force this. Okay, so I'm going to ping them. Okay, and now they don't have a removal spell. I'm going to ping the Thought Monitor. And the other card, I'm going to ping the Thought Monitor again. Just clear a path for us to beat in with our giant army token and our Nethergoyf. I'm feeling pretty good about this game. I should have played that out first. Yeah, I could have gotten extra damage here. Yeah, that was bad. All right, hopefully the game doesn't come down to 1 damage because if I play this out, then I have an artifact in my graveyard and I'm doing extra damage. But I am going to use my bubble now. The play patterns, I'm still getting used to them. Okay, Ancient Tomb, sure. You're welcome to tap that Ancient Tomb while you want when you're looking at, what is this? 8 damage every turn. I imagine they may have cantrips in their hand. Well, actually, they don't really play cantrips, but they might have Thoughtcast or another Thought Monitor in their hand. Okay, they're Legend rolling their Mox Opal. They're auto-wiring my Bowmasters back to my hand. They pay 2 life to tap Ancient Tomb to do that. I'm not sure about that play. Okay, Thoughtcast. Wow, that seems pretty desperate that they needed to get that out of the play just to draw some more cards with Thoughtcast. So we don't know what they drew. They may have drawn like some really insane cards off that Thoughtcast, but I'm feeling like I'm in a very strong position here. All right, I'm just gonna play this out definitely, and I'm gonna start before I even attack, just casting this out to see how they react. If they force it, the Nethergoyf gets stronger. I think they're dead on board. So 5, 8. So they're not exactly dead. They're close to dead though. They're only mostly dead. That's a Princess Bride thing, I think. He's only mostly dead. There's also this excellent sketch with the dead parrot from Monty Python. I think that might also involve mostly dead. He's just resting. All right, so we cleanly won that 2-0, which is not a surprise. I mean, I feel like they were really outmatched when we had 4 Bowmasters in our sideboard. And I don't think that deck has gotten a lot of great new tools from Modern Horizons 3. I didn't see anything. If anything, it's just gotten weaker because of Vexing Bauble. So my humble advice to you, if you're considering 8-cast, would be wait and see if like Vexing Bauble or Bowmasters somehow get banned, or if people move on from them as legacy staples, and then consider playing the deck. All right, Julian 23. A lot of Painter. It's Julian Painter player? If so, this guy's like a Painter master. All right. We're not totally cold to Painter, but it's not like a super favorable matchup. I think it's one of the strongest decks in the entire format right now. What are the chances they are indeed on Painter? Let's see what else they've been playing. Legacy, is it Delver? That was No, that was several months. They had this. I don't think it's Julian. I'm gonna assume they're on Painter, and I think I'm gonna open Tameo. I could just get the Surveil land. I do think we keep this against either Painter or Delver. Actually, I'm just gonna go get an island. I think that's fine. Because we have Tameo and we can daze something for a turn or two. I mean, the fact that we have double daze is almost like a land drop. And that's one of the reasons why I think if you're playing like all 4 dazes, you should only play 19 lands or 18 lands because your hands tend to get jammed up. And why if you're playing 19 lands, you should drop down to 3. And when I say jammed up, like you get a glut of lands and you can't reliably play them. Of course, you're going to get some distributional lands. It's not always going to be uniform. But in general, you're going to draw more lands. If you have 19 lands in your deck than 18, I don't think that surprises anybody. Okay, so I passed priority accidentally. I meant to cast this before I went to combat. I'm just waiting for my opponent to return priority, and then I will fetch and get the island. If they are on Painter, I am going to want an island. And if they are on Delver, I'm definitely going to want the island. So, all right, Ancient Tomb, Painter's Servant. We don't have anything better to do than stop their potential turn to Goldfish. So I think we'll do that. All right. So vindicated in our decision to daze there because we would have just looked like fools if we hadn't dazed there. So I'll create a clue and I'll pass. They're fetching. One thing to note is if they're on Painter, they could be playing Simian Spirit Guide. This sucks because I can get Painter back, but I can't stop it. I have to get a swamp immediately, basically, or else the game's going to end very quickly. Grindstone. Okay, now we're like super duper dead. Let's see what they're going to do with that last mana. Soul Guide Lantern. I don't think it's worth dazing that. It's just not that big of a deal. They can use it, of course, to swap, but daze might be useful for something good later. We don't need to protect our graveyard at this point. Graveyard doesn't do anything right now. This is swamp or bust. If we don't find a swamp, we're dead. Unfortunately, this doesn't even do it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, because they can basically just activate Grindstone and then put Painter into play. I'm not going to waste their time. Nor yours. Sometimes you just get painted. I think it was a reasonable keep. We saw 10 cards and we only found 1 land. Granted, we took a land out of the deck. So let's think about the possibility of that happening. So we basically saw our opener and then we saw 3 additional cards, which is in line with probability. They had a faster than expected Goldfish there. All right, so somebody in the comments was telling me that they think I shouldn't take Psychic Frog out against the 7 Red Elemental Blast deck, and that Tameo is worse. My thinking on that is if I'm going to have a 1-drop blasted, or I'd rather have my 1-drop blasted than my 2-drop, and we need to get the blast out of their hand. We could split it though. I mean, Tameo does nothing, and it did nothing in that match. All right, so I think I'm going to try it. Like, they're not attacking our mana base other than, potentially trying to color screw us with Painter. So we could leave our premier threat in our deck. I think Daze comes out against the Stompy deck. I mean, actually, we're on the play. Force could come out instead. Hydroblast is coming in. Powder Keg is coming in. Long Goodbye can come in. It's not great, but like their entire deck is creatures, basically. Consigned Memory is not good enough, in my humble opinion. Force is not good enough. Toxic Deluge. I don't think it's good enough because like you get in these situations where you just get completely destroyed by constructs. Okay, so cards that can come out. Baleful Strix is pretty good, actually. I mean, I would probably still take some number of... Oh, Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize may actually be worth keeping. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll take out 2 forces. And I will take out... Got 53 seconds to decide on the last edit. Maybe I'll take out one Psychic Frog and leave 3 of them in. I usually win with Bowmasters against this deck, which may seem surprising, but they do actually draw cards. Nethergoyf can't be blasted. I mean, Nethergoyf is just such a really powerful... I almost feel like we should take out some of the frogs and bring in Force of Will. But I see what the commenter was saying about Tamiyo being useless in this matchup. Like, the game has to go really long for Tamiyo to be good. And anytime, even if you put all this work into flipping her and plusing her, they have 7 blasts. This seems like a good hand. It's got insulation from a lot of stuff. It's a slow hand, but I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to Island Ponder, looking for Nethergoyf probably. Nethergoyf's our most reliable kill. I'll also take a Bowmasters. Or I'll take double Bowmaster. That's totally fine too. Yeah, I think this is good. All right, so depending, like if they play a Saga, we'll just waste it. Otherwise, we'll go to Bowmaster land. This is fine. So Mox Opal and a Soul Guide Lantern is fine. Or we don't even have another Nethergoyf right now. Usually they just use this as a card draw, and sometimes if they expect like an opponent to have a Emrakul in their sideboard or something that they can board in to stop the Painter combo, they can use this and exile the Emrakul so they can still win. I think the play here is just wait and see what they do, and Bowmaster. The same commenter who said I should take out Tamiyo instead of Frog, did also point out that a lot of opponents will take out Goblin Engineer on the draw. So this is a card that I think is strong enough that you do daze it here. And the reason is because this goes and gets something dangerous that stays in the yard, and it's also a body. Let's see if they Simian Spirit Guide here. I don't think Painter usually plays Simian Spirit Guide. Okay. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and get my swamp here, and we're going to go to Bowmaster land. It's just going to take a while to chip at their life total, but this will get the job done. It will disrupt a little bit. All right, we ripped another daze, which is great. So they can no longer easily cantrip off that Soul Guide Lantern, for example. This makes their Fable of the Mirror Breakers worse. That makes the Phyrexian Dragon Engine worse. And just incidental card draw. Like a lot of times they'll get like one of these out, and they'll just keep bringing this back and sacrificing it to draw cards and stuff like that. They can't do that anymore. Okay, I've got a Wasteland for that. Fable is... I mean, we can actually hardcast Daze on this. I think it's fine. I'm going to do that. All right, so now we can waste the Saga and still have Bowmasters up. Wow, another Bowmasters. I think I'm going to take the risk that they have the card that I don't like. I don't like it because it always gets me. It's called Fury. Yeah. I'm going to take a risk that they have Fury just to get some extra damage on them. So I've got another Bowmaster. Even if they wrath my board, I can kind of rebuild. But getting damage in is important because they do use their life total as a resource. Now they're heavily disincentivized from cracking that lantern. All right, they're doing it. Do I think that is correct? I do not. I think that is a very bad decision, but I don't know what's in their hand. Looks like, okay, there's the city. Goblin Engineer, I can't stop that now, but I can Longa buy it. I actually don't even necessarily need to Longa buy it. There's a decent chance that they have to just use it as a blocker. And then if they block one of my Bowmasters, I'll Bowmaster with the attack on the stack, and then it'll grow my army and do even more damage. And I can take it out. Okay, they put... What did they put in? They put Painter Servant. Okay. It wasn't... I'm not used to having these as 2 stacks, and I just wasn't sure. But yeah, that makes sense. All right. So that tells me that we definitely need to get rid of this. I'm going to start by attacking. Just see what they do. They may not be able to block here. Okay, they do block. I'm just going to go ahead and bring in another Bowmasters here. Ping it. And they're going to take 6 here. It's like half their life total, and they lose their Engineer. So we just have to beat whatever the last 3 cards in their hand are. 4 cards rather. Okay. City of Traders is dying. They're tapping in response. This could be a big mana play. I mean, if they have the combo in hand, is that enough mana? They're doing a big 4th, which is fine. Actually, 4th is very dangerous for them. If they take the initiative, I'm going to ping them. They can't take the initiative. Okay, yeah, and they realize they can't take the initiative. All right, so options. I think brainstorming is fine here. Thoughtseize gets rid of a card in their hand, which is not the worst. Fatal Push is our insulation against them having the combo. Okay, so options. We could just attack in with our Bowmasters and force them to block. Okay, let's think about this. So we could push one, and then we attack with both, and then they're forced to block the big one, so they get at least one of our Bowmasters gets through. I don't think that's great. That does get them down to 1 knight. I think it's unnecessarily risky, though. I think what I'm going to do is probably just go ahead and Thoughtseize them, and the Long Goodbye is just a generic removal spell. Fatal Push is actually marginally better because it can hit a 4-drop. I don't know if that's relevant in this matchup. I'm going to take a look at their hand. Okay, double Pyroblast. I'll take one. Yeah, I think I just send in one. They chump. Then next turn, I can attack with double and do additional. This, if you're watching and you're like an expert at combat math and stuff, and you think that I should have attacked with everything there. Okay, well, blocking order is fine. I'm going to go ahead and fetch. I'm just going to push. Now, they do have a lot of mana potentially, but they don't have a way to draw 2 cards. I'll just kill that one. And then the other ones will take all the damage. All right. They're going to need a miracle. Actually, if they drew Fury, that would do it. Because it would be a blocker and it would slow... Like I would have to... They would be able to kill my Bowmasters. And then when I attacked, they would be able to block... but they need another mana. Yeah, they need more mana. So, yeah. Bowmasters. I'm telling you, it's a great card against them. Okay, so on the draw, Daze gets a lot worse. I think we take it out completely. We can bring in some additional forces. I think we probably want all 4 forces on the draw. And then the other card we probably want is we could bring one of these Psychic Frogs back in. Toxic Deluge would have actually been good against 4th Aerolingus. But no, it wouldn't have been good because it would have killed our own Bowmasters. Those are kind of lock pieces that we want to keep in play. Okay, so I'm going to leave 1 Daze in. No, I'm not going to leave Daze in. I don't think it's good here. I'll put the frog back in. All right, let's try it. So again, like we have a lot of incidental graveyard hate in like Emperor of Bones and cards like that. So I'm hoping that like if you Emperor of Bones, so I don't think our opponent, I think they're on the white-red, so they're probably not playing Chaos Defiler, but there was a game where I got Chaos Defiler under Emperor of Bones, and it was just annihilated my opponent, because it was basically like double Vindicate. All right, so this hand is great because it has the Spell Bomb, which is a hate card, and it's not super susceptible to blue or red elemental blast. It has double land. If we don't have a card to pitch with force, but we will eventually get one. And these Nethergoyfs are potentially going to be 2/3s, and if they kill one of these, then they'll grow to 3/4. I think we keep this. I'm trying to think, the most aggressive lines they could have would be like Ancient Tomb into Painter, and then untap, Ancient Tomb into Grindstone. Grindstone you. That's like, I think, the most aggressive. We don't have a clean answer to Urza Saga here. We don't have any cantrips. If they have Leyline of the Void, which I don't expect them to have, that would be an absolute nightmare here. I think we're going to keep. We can surveil, but I think I'm going to fetch a basic island just in case they do have Blood Moon. In fact, let's take a look at their typical sideboard strategy. I should have done this before I kept the hand. 4 Magus of the Moon. So that is definitely, like, if they turbo that out, we're screwed. Okay, this is what I was worried about them having, like, potentially, like, just the combo immediately. The good news is force. I can now force with anything because everything's blue. Bad news is that probably means they have a blast in their hand. Okay, Hydroblast. Nice. Okay, so I think what we do here is we do respect the fact that they could just untap and jam the combo. And I like having 2 points of interaction. So I'm just going to play this up. And then if they play like something that necessitates us playing out the spell bomb, I'll play that out next turn. But I want to be able to fetch an island. Okay, they don't have red mana up. This has to be a force. Like there's no way around it. I think we force and we pitch one of the Nethergoyfs. And now, should they like... Okay, here we go. This is expected. All right, so I'm going to fetch. Get my island. And I do think it's correct to get the island. I'm going to Hydroblast this. All right. We saved ourselves. We'll see whether they have another one. But they only have like 2 of these in their deck probably. So they're unlikely to naturally draw one. But every Urza Saga represents, a potential grindstone. Scary times. All right. I think now Spellbomb is pretty good here. I don't think it's necessary to play Orcish Bowmaster. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to play out this Goyf and this now Spellbomb. And then in an absolute emergency, we can stop them from recurring the Grindstone from the graveyard. Fable's fine. I've got a Bowmaster that I can play next turn that'll deter them from being able to both attack with the token and will deter them from being able to discard and draw. I mean, they can still do it, but it punishes them if they do it. All right. Nethergoyf is holding back the aggression for us. I definitely think Orcish Bowmaster is the play here. The question is, do we attack? Knowing that they... Actually, yeah, I'm going to attack, and if they block with Painter, I'm just going to Bowmaster. All right, they did not. All right, so when Fable goes on the stack, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to Bowmaster here. They could blast this. Okay, we're just going to hit this. And then if they use it, I'm going to hit it again. Classic Bowmaster on Fable of the Mirror Breaker play pattern. So now they're deterred from, or they're not deterred, but they're disincentivized from attacking. I guess deter and disincentivize are similar. Fury! No! Okay, so it's pretty bad, but they did have to pitch a card for this. Right. The good news is we do have another Nethergoyf, which is going to be even bigger. I'm going to assume they're probably going to take out the Bowmaster and the Nethergoyf here. But I still will chump, for sure, if they attack with the Goblin Shaman. I'm glad they pitch casted it, because if Fable flips and they're able to copy Fury, it becomes an absolute nightmare. Because every turn they're wrathing your board, basically, and they're putting in a 3/3 double striker they can attack with haste. Yep, that's fine. Fury dies. They may not attack with the Goblin Shaman if they're disciplined, because they're really low in resources here. Engineer is okay, but we do have the ability to exile their graveyard, which I am most definitely going to do. I'm not going to let them get away with, they're probably going to put, what would they put in their graveyard? Yep, Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Good card to put in the graveyard. Please attack me. Yeah, they're not going to attack with the Goblin token. Okay. Land would be a great draw here because it would give us Spellbomb and Psychic Frog. I would love to go fetch a swamp. All right, so I think the play is probably... We could just push this. We kind of have to, because if this flips, then they can start targeting it. This has to die this turn. It sucks because everything I want to do involves black mana. I've only got 1 black. So that is the price of fetching basics here. The other option is I could nuke their graveyard and then I could just push next turn. This might yield a card. I need to nuke their graveyard anyway if this stays out. I don't need to nuke their graveyard if this isn't staying out. No, I do, because they can bring back yeah, so I'm gonna just nuke their graveyard. All right, draw a card. We drew a land. Perfect. Okay. So now we can do the other stuff we wanted to do, which I think is play out Psychic Frog. Psychic Frog can get blasted, but we want to be able to attack with Psychic Frog next turn, and we can Fatal Push and Goyf next turn. This has higher upside being on the table. I hope I'm not missing some sort of like thing that they could rip here. Obviously, they could rip the other Grindstone. That's like 1 in 48. I'm willing to live with those odds and accept that I was unlucky if I die to those odds. Okay. I'm just gonna... Yeah, I can't really pitch either of these cards. I mean, I could pitch the Nether Goyf. Pitch another Goyf block here. I do want to get that out of play. I think it's better to just give them the gem, the treasure token though. I don't have any intention of pumping this at all. I'm just going to try to attack through their squad. It's now a higher priority to kill this than to kill this because this can clone other things. Best draw on my deck is maybe a fetch to turn on Fatal Push, or a Wasteland would be really good actually. That'll do. Okay, so I think we play this out. I am going to go ahead and fetch first. I'm going to get the Surveil land. The only reason I fetched is just to turn on Revolt. That can definitely go in the graveyard, so that was a good Surveil. All right. I'm going to start by pushing here. I just want to make sure this resolves. If it doesn't resolve, we've got a serious problem. Okay, that's great. Now I'm going to attack with my Frog, and they would be foolish to put something in front of it. I guess they can put the Painter in front of it. I'm going to exile some cards. Let's do that. So let's exile land, instant. Okay, it's flying. All right, I'm going to hopefully connect with it and draw a card. All right, so I'm pretty sure they would have blasted that if they had it. All right, this does grow the Goyf. I think I'm going to go ahead and play it out and see what they have on top of their deck. Top card is Welder, which is not scary right now, but could be scary later. I'm just going to play this out. This represents a lot of damage next turn. All my cards are on the table. They shouldn't be able to attack in, though. We get a card. It's a Brainstorm that we can use immediately if we need to in a pinch. Okay, they're attacking in. I am going to block here. There's definitely the risk that they could have another Fury that they're pitch casting. They do have a red card in hand, the Goblin Welder that they drew. If they kill this, I can still bring it back. That's one of the great things about Nether Goyf. Like, I almost feel like Nether Goyf is better, not just because of one drop than the original Nether Goyf, but oh no, if they have Hardcast Fury, this is going to be really scary. Oh no, that's what they have. That's super scary, and I feel like we're pretty dead. Let's see how much damage they put on the Psychic Frog. That's the higher priority card to kill. Yep, I can't do anything about that. That's super scary. Well, I'm going to see cards that can be good against this. Obviously, Brazen Borrower would be good, which is in my deck. I think we start by pondering to try to find a Brazen Borrower. It's actually, we can see more cards if we Brainstorm first. These are great cards. I think I'm going to go ahead and draw them. I'm going to Brainstorm. And then I can ponder away the land. I don't need that. And now Spell Bomb is not as strong right now. Like, getting this Engineer out of play might be higher priority. I'm going to put these back. Now I'm going to ponder. Worst case scenario, I have to keep those if I find the Brazen Borrower. I didn't find the Brazen Borrower. I'm going to shuffle these. Oh, no. So our Nether Goyf is a 5/6 now, but it's not strong enough. Next turn, we can bring out another Nethergoyf. Let's see how strong it'll be. It'll be so we've got instant. This is the hard part, is calculating how many you have of each card. So we would have to exile our artifact. I do think we get rid of the engineer here. That may be like kind of a weird thing because they could just Painter Servant and kill us. But if something, well, I'm going to wait. But I'm definitely like keen to bring back Nethergoyf to double block next turn. I just don't want to push something if they like have some, like if they have the combo, I can push Painter Servant. They can bring it back with this though. I think they attack here unless they plan to beat me with the combo. And their top decks are way better than mine because every single card they draw could be like, a blast, which could do massive damage to my board. So actually, I think if I block this, I kill it and I can just bring back. Yeah, I think that's the play. They don't have a way to recur these. I don't want to take all that damage. Okay, Welder. Welder's fine. They don't have any cards in their graveyard. I need to get rid of these, though. These are extremely problematic as the game goes longer. Because now if they find an engineer, they can put something in the graveyard. All right, I'm just going to hold. I've got plenty of mana. All right. So now I'm feeling kind of dumb for not just bouncing that back to hand, but I'll learn to live with that decision. I think bringing back one of these is fine. We can keep the Fury up. So let's exile instant. We need to exile 4 types. Land is the most abundant in our deck, so we don't want to... Oh, wait, we have extra artifacts. So instant artifact, creature, I guess. And yeah, I'll do a land. This does make our Nethergoyf smaller than it used to be. It's a 4/5 though. That's not too bad. All right, and then we have emergency fatal push here. But I think Nethergoyf, like assuming they don't draw out of this, they are taking damage when they tap the tomb. We may be able to aggro them. Okay, I think we just have to let this resolve. I could definitely bounce the token back to hand. And then I can play out the borrower. I think that's fine. The token is not an artifact, right? And we are low on time. We've been playing very deliberately. Wait, deliberate? The opposite of deliberate. We've been playing very slowly. That's pretty good. Okay, we can like basically wrath their board. I'm going to go ahead and attack with Nethergoyf. See how they block. We have double fatal push, so we can definitely punish sloppy blocking here. If they just throw something in front of it, that's fine. I think that's fine. They didn't do any tricks with it. I mean, part of me is just like, let's just blast these two. I'm gonna wait. Wait a second. Yeah, they have this. They can put it back in. Yeah, that's fine. Because we have fatal push, they'd have to do that like multiple times. That's fine. And now that they've got that back, I am tempted to push. I'm not going to push. I'm going to wait. Let's see what they discard. They only have one card that they can discard, but it could be... No, actually, I think I do have to do this now. As sad as it is, this is like a huge risk. Because they could discard something that's really good. I'll put that back. Oh, they're swapping it for the land. That's fine with me. Okay, and now that is being pushed and they've got the creature out of play, I'm very tempted to just push this too, just in case. Like one of the cards they discard is really good. All right, and that might have been a mistake. Let me know if you think that was a mistake. Wow. Okay, they didn't have anything. They can't tap their lands. I think we may have gotten a win against Painter, which is the big bad in the format other than maybe Eldrazi. Okay, they have the blast. That's fine. So that was a 2-for-1, basically. This card's pretty bad. Let's see. Yeah, we're definitely going to attack first, but I'm going to bring back another wife after I attack. Now that I have oh wait, if I put that in, I would have been able to do extra damage because I didn't have a land in the yard. Sorry. This is the second time I've missed damage with Nethergoyf. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and just bring in Nethergoyf back. I've got nothing else going on. I'll get a swamp in case they do have like an extremely late Magus. All right, so Nethergoyf, and we're going to exile. This time we can exile sorcery, instant, creature. I guess we do exile a land. It's more likely we have a land than an artifact. Yeah. So these are going to become 4/5s again, but we have 2 of them. So we're going to be able to attack through this flipped Fable, the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki. See what they have off the top. Okay, they're going to 1. Simian Spirit Guide. Okay, that is great news for us. I don't think they can win anymore. They just don't have any mana. Emperor of Bones, just style on them. I am going to play this out before combat. I will exile Fury. Yeah, it seems like a pretty good card. Oh no, I freaking clicked through my attack because I was doing the trigger. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not intentionally dragging this out. Next turn, though, we can Fury their board and attack. I mean, there was no reason not to attack there. It was just a misclick. This does give them the out of potentially, putting additional Simian Spirit Guides into play. Oh, I could have adapted it instant speed and just killed their creatures too. So it was like double missing lethal. So I can already hear you in the comments. You don't need to comment on this one. I'm going to be, flagellating myself, which means like basically whipping myself like a monk would. I'm sorry, I don't actually engage in self-harm or anything like that, but I'm going to be doing the psychological introspective equivalent of that. But we did win. We're 2-0. Let's go to round 3. Round 3, we are likely against the Epic Storm. This player has played the Epic Storm a lot historically, and then they were playing kind of like an artifact creature combo as well. But I'm going to assume they're on Epic Storm. Probably the latest list. I mean, there's like an amazing community around this deck, and I think most of them play the latest version. Only 2 Beseeches. Interesting. Okay, so we have a great hand against Epic Storm. I'm going to keep this. I don't anticipate any mana disruption, so I don't think I need to fetch basics. I'll be sad if they're not on the Epic Storm when we get an opener like this, but okay, Tamiyo, Island Tamiyo, this might not be Epic Storm. I'm just going to leave it. I can park a Baleful Strix in front of this, and it'll never be able to attack. All right, so I think we just start probably like Island Ponder. I know that sounds passive, but if they're playing Tamiyo, they could be playing what I'm playing, and I don't want them to waste me. Getting a second land is the highest priority. Okay, we found their swamp. This is great. This is an excellent series of draws. So I think I'm more interested in Tamiyo immediately, and I'll just take the swamp now. Unlikely to pitch. Well, I guess I could have taken Tamiyo as a pitch, but I think the pitch is probably just Force of Will to Force of Will, unless they give me some sort of combo vibes here. All right. So I'm definitely going to... If they don't play anything out, if they play something out and I can deploy Baleful Strix without having to worry about days, I think I'm going to play out Baleful Strix anyway. The other option, of course, is to play out Tamiyo. I'm just going to play out Baleful Strix. This is just like a good value card. Like, it's prepaying for removal, as I like to say. All right, and it's in. So that stops the Tamiyo beats. Got a ton of permission. Instep, Bowmasters will get dazed. They're probably just cracking the clue here. So Tamiyo has already paid for herself either way. Doorkeeper. Okay, so they're on the deck that I was playing a few days ago, which is a very good deck. I'm just going to daze here. And then I have Force if I need to. But I think it's just too clean of an opportunity to stop like a serious card in their deck. All right, and we did. So next turn, we can deploy Psychic Frog. They're likely going to have Plow in their deck. Cards we will force will include cards that enable. So you go after the Doorkeeper Thrall. You go after the Dress Down. You go after the Stifle. You let the Phyrexian Dreadnoughts and Null Drifters rot in their hands. Okay. It's worth noting that they are a 4 stifle deck likely. Cracking a clue. Oh, does that flip Tamiyo? I guess so. All right, well, we do have Brazen Borrower, so I'm not too worried about it. What was their first draw? They pondered and then they, I just need to be more attentive. Okay. That was some other feedback people have given me, like, you keep missing things. All right, I'm going to try not to miss things. Okay, so there's no point in attacking with Strix. I think we deploy a Frog and we just don't worry about Tamiyo going up. There's not. They could get something back, but it's not that big of a deal if they do. I want to wait until I have another land before I get, because we're likely going to fight over Brazen Borrower. It doesn't matter how many times they go up with Tamiyo, if ultimately it gets borrowed back before they ultimate. If they start going negative, I will be able to kill it though, because she can't both defend herself and grab a card from the graveyard. Okay, and it looks like they're going upward. All right, Wasteland. All right, a Wasteland on my own. Don't mind if I do. So what I can do is I can play this out. Is knocking loyalty off of her worth discarding a card. I mean, the sad thing is we do kind of need to discard a card in order to ensure that we can get through. If we knock a loyalty offer, it doesn't actually stop her. Actually, across 2 turns, it will stop her. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and go to combat, and I'm going to attack. And then I think I'm going to discard my own Tamiyo. Is that crazy? I could just discard. Sorry, I just stuttered there. I could discard Fatal Push. It's not the most powerful card right now because their monsters don't really have a way to get into play. And as long as they don't have a way to get into play, then we don't really need to worry about it. We can just get into a force fight here. Okay, so they're letting me connect with Tamiyo. I draw a card. It's another Fatal Push. That's fine. And I think I just pass with the ability to bounce her. But by attacking, I'm probably maybe giving my opponent the vibe. I mean, we could just bounce this back to hand, but I don't like doing that. I'm just going to force. They got their 2 for 1. If they force this through, then we can always bounce things back to their hand after the dress down is worn off. It's fine. So again, I'm going to be able to attack and knock a loyalty off of it. I think this is the other force because we need the power in play to be able to stop her. Okay, second Wasteland. So they are going for the hardcast Null Drifter here. This is a good window to bounce Tamiyo to hand because they're less likely to have a force right now. Okay. Yeah, and they get the cards. If they have Stifle, that's scary. I think they are going to stifle her here. Stifle it. Yeah. All right. So we can jump the Frog and we can potentially stop Null Drifter at the cost of just 1 permanent. That's not very good. I mean, we can just attack. I want to connect. I can flash this in. I'm trying to think of what I have in my deck that can address resolve Null Drifter. I think the answer is I don't have anything. Did something go wrong here? Oh, actually, my Baleful Strix can just block. They have to have removal. I'm going to go ahead and attack, and I'll happily pitch my entire hand to kill the Null Drifter if they decide to block here. Oh, they still get the... Oh, no, they still get the minus. That sucks. So now I have to discard my whole hand anyway. Yeah, I forgot about the minus trigger. Maybe they'll think it was like a tactic. All right, well, I want to keep this alive, so I am going to discard. I feel like a dumbass. Yeah, I'll discard that too. Sure. All right, and I think what they're probably going to do is they're probably going to, they're probably going to waste me so that they can destroy one of my basics. And if they do that, I will waste one of their wastelands, but it's not going to be pretty. They are into practically hardcast Null Drifter territory here. So they're recasting Tamiyo, which is fine. Another Null Drifter into Stifle. Yep, that is pretty brutal. That does flip Tamiyo again. Do they have another Stifle or Dress Down or Doorkeeper Thrall? They do have another Stifle. Yeah, this is absolutely brutal. This is the Plow. I'm going to concede. There's no hope for this game, and I'd rather have time. They're playing very fast. So, yeah, like I don't think like waiting around and doing all this song and dance is going to get us anywhere. All right. So I think this is an unfavorable matchup, but Bowmasters is pretty strong potentially. Harbinger doesn't do anything. Long Goodbye can get rid of Tameo. I think actually Long Goodbye is better than Fatal Push. I think Fatal Push is pretty bad here. It can hit a resolved Dreadnought, but that's about it. The best card in our deck is probably Brazen Borrower. That card is really strong, and I felt like almost sad that I couldn't use Brazen Borrower on the Null Drifter. I didn't know the Null Drifter was coming, but you know I had to get Tameo out of play. So Tameo, I mean, just another endorsement of Tameo. Emperor of Bones doesn't do anything in this match. Actually, I mean, my goodness, no, because the cast trigger is so you don't get the Null Drifter bonus unless it's a cast trigger. Some other cards that I think are not great. Actually, I think Thoughtseize is quite good because it's an AB combo. They don't do anything with their graveyard, so we can take that out. That's 60 cards. Let's see. Forces don't feel good in the matchup. Consign to Memory does stop their creatures and their triggers. I think maybe that's the way. We take out some of these. Forces feel terrible in this matchup. So if we put these in, this can stop the Null Drifter's triggers, and it can also stop. It can completely stop Phyrexian Dreadnought. I don't think it's as good as it might seem initially. It potentially addresses 8 cards in their deck. I don't know that they have any activated abilities that this goes after. I think I'll bring in 1 and I'll keep a Force in. Yeah, I think that's how I'm going to play it. So we're going way up to 19 creatures, which is important against their heavy removal. We are going to keep our Dazes in because we're on the play, and because even though they had like a lot of lands that game, they often go low on resources. They play a pretty conservative or a pretty aggressive mana count usually. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they only had 18 and they just drew more lands than you would expect. Okay, so this has basic. It has Tameo. Double Psychic Frog, I think we keep this and we try to frog them. All right, so I think we start with Tameo. I'm going to go Island Tameo, and I'm going to fetch immediately. You might be thinking, oh, but this is going to get your swamp too. Well, it sucks, but we don't want to get dazed or, stifled or wasted out of the game here. So we're going to start Tameo, and then we're going to hope that she baits their plows so that Frog can do the frog thing. They have no turn 1 play. Nethergoyf. I'm going to attack first. I do think Frog is the play here. And if it gets wasted, or it's probably not going to die. Yeah, because we can always pawn our next turn. Getting Frog out is really, really good because we can flip Tameo next turn pretty easily. They may daze here. Or, yeah, I think they're probably going to daze this. But dazing it makes our Nethergoyf stronger. And we have a backup Frog as well. Okay, there's the daze. Right, they're brainstorming. They're getting an imperfect brainstorm. Which makes me think they may be low in land or something if they're doing that. Because generally, as long as you have land, you don't want to brainstorm until later in the game. Because, you don't want to... You want to be able to maximize the number of cards you can shuffle away. Right? Basic Island. And that, I believe, they did fetch Basic Island. This is great. This is a great pickup. Okay, so I'm going to start by pondering. And they may not realize this, but this basically gives me... Oh, so good. These are all such insane cards. My goodness, deck. Thank you for being so kind to me. So I do not want to fetch. What I want to do is probably hold up... I want to Thoughtseize. So I think this turn I'm just going to Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize seems so strong here. I don't think they're going to ponder to make me discard it. I am going to go ahead and attack with Tameo first, though, in case they try to remove her. I don't see how they could. So Thoughtseize is really strong against AB style decks because we can take the Dress Down here or the Thrall, Doorkeeper Thrall, and then they'll have like a bunch of useless cards in their hand, potentially. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Like, we take the Doorkeeper Thrall or the Dress Down, and then they can't really do a lot. I think we take Dress Down because it cantrips. Doorkeeper Thrall we can just push. Celestial Purge is a good card. Okay. I'm just going to pass. So again, their hand here, we've taken the Dress Down. They do have a Wasteland. They may fire that off. I mean, that's aggressive, considering I've already got Tamiyo on the table. All right, so Long Goodbye is one of the cards on the deck, and I want to draw it for sure. So this may seem extremely passive, but I'm just going to attack with Tamiyo, and I'm going to pass, because I don't really want to shuffle that Long Goodbye away. We do have the option of Bowmastering them. They didn't have Daze last turn. So if they attempt to like do like another end-step Brainstorm or something, we can get them that way. The other option, of course, is just to stick a Psychic Frog. They have Celestial Purge to deal with basically all of our permanents. I think we just hold out because killing Doorkeeper Thrall with like a Null Drifter on the stack is going to be really powerful. I think it was a mistake for them to waste there. And my reasoning is that they're going to need a lot of mana to be able to deploy the Doorkeeper, Null Drifters. You know what? I think I am going to draw a card here. And my reasoning is we don't want to have to wait a whole turn cycle because they can wait until the very end of their turn. They don't have Force Blue card. We now have Force Blue card ourselves. So I think we can pretty reliably Fatal Push their Doorkeeper Thrall. Getting that second Bowmasters is great. Love to get a land here. Okay. Yeah, I would love to have a... I think I'm just going to wait and see if they Doorkeeper Thrall, and then I can push it. And I'll have Daze Protection for when I push it. Okay, they did find a land. They didn't put Doorkeeper Thrall in last turn, which maybe means that they think that we likely have a card to deal with it. Yeah, I'm just going to keep Howling Mine here. It's a good pickup. Pitches to Force and potentially counters a Null Drifter. I'll just attack. Again, I know this is extremely passive. I think I am going to go ahead and deploy another Goyf because I don't really want them to use that on my my Bowmasters. Bowmasters are more powerful. Yep, and I'll just pass. Doorkeeper Thrall is fine. No, I think I'm gonna counter this, and then if they Null Drifter, I can just consign it. I don't need these Psychic Frogs. They already have a Celestial Purge in their hand. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were going to deploy it. I guess it makes sense that they deploy it now that they have 3 mana because they can definitely Null Drifter next turn. Okay, I think this is Null Drifter. Oh, Celestial Purge. Yep, you got it. So another Goyf did take the bait, I guess. I really need to draw a land. Okay, I think I'm gonna start by pondering, and then if I don't find a land, I'm almost certainly gonna shuffle because that's what I'm really looking for. Okay, they're gonna plow. I think that's fine. She's definitely, pulled her weight. Okay, so this is a replacement Tamiyo. I mean, these cards are so good, but we really need land. I'm gonna any order shuffle. All right, we're still not finding land. I think we sadly have to just pass. And if they have the Null Drifter combo, they have it, and we're really, really sad. They only wasted it one time. Maybe they're going to aggressively Brainstorm to flip her. Okay, this actually does flip her. Yep, that's good use of Null Drifter. That is a nice interaction between the two cards. So unfortunately, they are going to get the 2 cards. I couldn't hold up Consign to Memory and Ponder for a land there. Wasteland, which will basically take out our next land when we eventually find it because we don't have any more basics on our deck. All right, we did find a land. I think here my instinct is to just hold, and then maybe we can get lucky and hit them with a Bowmaster, or maybe triple, counter Null Drifter on the stack. I do want to get that Null Drifter out of their hand without them being able to benefit from it. Okay, they're not going to do anything. Well, I'm going to instep Bowmaster. They do have Hardcast Force mana up. Doorkeeper Thrall, fine. I'm going to fetch in response. And I realize that I could totally be walking into Daze here. They're going to stifle. That's fine. So Bowmaster is not going to do anything here. Okay, we got another land. Options. I think we push the Thrall. I think that is totally reasonable here. I'm going to float black here. Okay, it's dead. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Bowmaster a second time. I don't think they have any sweepers. I just want to prevent them from being able to benefit from a lot of the cards in their deck. Next turn, we're not going to be able to profitably attack it. We're going to have to bounce it back to hand. A single Daze blows out this line, though. All right, she's a 7. Yeah, I mean, if they have so much as a Daze, our days are over. Well, it's better to do it now than to wait, because they would have an extra card. If they have the Daze, though, we're dead. Or a Force. Okay, they didn't. All right, we'll just pass. But we have sufficiently slowed them down, and it's going to be very painful for them to draw cards. I suspect they probably still have that Null Drifter in hand. I could have maybe tracked a little bit closer, like whether they had shuffled. That's fine. So this is going to make their Null Drifter less painful when they cast it. That's fine. Yep. So I'm going to just hit them. There's no point in hitting their Tamiyo here. All right, and they may be able to, Daze this. The biggest problem has been the entire game, we've never had a convenient opportunity to keep consign up that I've seen. They got 2 cards in hand. Do they have the Stifle? No. Okay, good. They're going to be able to plus and Defender. So let's see what their this might be a Plow for Bowmaster. The Army actually would make sense if they want to keep Tamiyo around. All right. So best draw on my deck, land. Any land. All right. Actually, not that land. That land's not great. But actually, yeah, this allows us to... do we play the Nethergoyf? It's a 4/5. I like playing Nethergoyf, then holding up either Clue Activation or Consign to Memory. No point in attacking. That's fun. We get some tokens. Importantly, that is a destroy spell. We can bring Nethergoyf back if this game goes super duper long, but I'm worried about my clock. They have Hardcast Null Drifter mana. Very scary. Okay, I'm going to crack a Clue, instep. All right, we got a land. That's great. All right, so I think what we do here, how do these work? You have to tap the creature? Okay, I'm just going to do it because I'd like to find another land. Wait, it just goes into my hand. Okay. Oh, that's great. A land. It doesn't go into play though. Not sure if that was the right play. I think bringing back a Nethergoyf can potentially kill next turn, but Psychic Frog is better because we can pitch several cards if we need to Psychic Frog. Black, or yeah, I'm kind of regretting tapping the way I did because now I can't cast Consign to Memory. That was really bad, actually. There was no reason to tap the blue there. I could have totally tapped the Wasteland. The fact that they have Hardcast Null Drifter does make me want to go ahead and waste. I know that might sound weird. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. All right, and they're going to cast out their... they're just going to play their Fairy out. And what I can do with that Fairy is I can Bowmaster it next turn. All right, I'm just going to F6 through this turn to save some clock. Okay, Celestial Purge on our Frog. They're going to be able to do that every turn if they so desire. Yep, that's fine. I'll take the 3. Okay, what I think I can do here is start by playing a land. And I think we can crack a clue here. Yeah, I'll crack a clue. See what I can draw here. Another Netherglyph is great. I'm going to play out... they can keep Celestial Purging if they want. I think that's fine. And then I'm also going to... I'm going to deploy Tamiyo. So just like overwhelm them with threats. We need to close this game quickly, and then we need to win the next one. We'll be on the draw for the next one, which will make it even harder than this one. Okay, 2 cards in hand. We have no counterplay if they have the Null Drifter, but they've used 3 of their Null Drifters. I doubt they play all 4, but they might. Phyrexian Dreadnought we have covered. Trying to think of next turn we can map and we can clue if we need to. They're returning. Okay, so they are sacrificing just to... Okay, that's fine. So they're going to stifle this. It does represent a speedy clock, but I can't help but think that that was maybe unnecessarily aggressive, considering that they have like such a clock advantage. All right, I think I'm going to start by thought seizing them. Just make sure that this resolves. Okay, nothing. All right, and now I'm just going to push this. I'm going to explore with the map token. Let's do it with Netherglyph. Okay, we did get a land. Now I'm just going to clear out their creature here, and I'm going to attack them. I don't think we need to worry about something off the top. I'd rather just get this out of play and F6 through the next turn. Okay, we're getting lag. They may be conceding. Okay. So, yeah, we navigated that. It was just very slow. I don't think they needed to throw their Tamiyo away like that, but if they didn't have removal for the... Sorry, I'm trying to gather my thoughts. Okay, so on the draw, Daze gets a lot worse. I think we just take it out completely. Force gets a lot better because we can potentially stop part of their AB combo. Fatal Push was not terrible in that game. It can hit one of their enablers. It can also hit their creature. I think we could bring it in and we could take out... I'm playing Celestial Purge, which does make Psychic Frog harder to cast. I mean, it is like our best beater in theory, but it's also very mana intensive to get it out, and we're never going to really be able to safely plus it when they're playing Get Lost. They're like I just don't want to put counters on it. Psychic Frog was great. I'm sorry, Orcish Bowmasters was great. I'm going to take out a Psychic Frog and put in a Fatal Push. I just don't want to get steamrolled. Having played a lot of reps with their deck, I played, I think, like 2 or 3 leagues with it. And then I played maybe 10 leagues with the blue-black, several of which are on the channel that you can watch. It is a very explosive deck. And I just kind of snap kept that. I should have thought more about it, but I'm trying to preserve time. I'm aware that this might be a terrible keep, but it's got a lot of lands, which I like. Okay, so I'm going to open. I'm actually going to bait them into potentially dazing this or wasting me because I've got so many mana. They may daze this. This is like one of the best cards in our deck against them. It looks like they're going to daze this. So I would love nothing more for them to daze and then waste our Underground Sea. All right, and I'm going to probably comment a little less because I'm really focused on the clock here. Okay, they're surveilling again. This is very powerful in their deck because they're an AB deck. Okay, they kept the top card. So they've kept 2 top cards in a row, which makes me think they, possibly have the combo. Okay, Netherglyph is good. I think we can deploy both Netherglyph. I am going to go ahead and get a Swamp here because I don't want to get too far behind in lands. I'm going to go ahead and start with Netherglyph, and then I'm going to Tamiyo because I've got a backup Tamiyo if they daze this for some reason, which I can't imagine them dazing again. Oh, wow. They dazed again. I think that was a mistake. Because now Netherglyph's even bigger. They've got nothing on the board on the play. I mean, they could just, jam turn, I guess turn 4 would be the earliest they could jam it, but they could just jam a Netherglyph. Now I'm kind of wishing that I kept a daze in the deck. Let's see if they... Okay, they did Surveil Wrath. Okay, that's good to know that they're playing Wrath. I mean, that's a mana-intensive card. I don't think... Okay, I think actually I am going to waste here. I'm going to be the aggressor here. I'll just attack, and then I'm going to deploy a Tamiyo. And yes, we could absolutely run out of gas here, but that's what the Tamiyo is for, refilling. She brings the fuel. Probably plow on Nethergoyf. Oh, Prismatic Ending is fine. I mean, Nethergoyf is beating them down. Consign is a great rip. It's not the biggest. I definitely could have gone for my Surveil land there. I think that was a mistake to just play that at the island. Yep, and just like that, they've stabilized. So yeah, I definitely wish I had the ability to Surveil there. Right, I'm going to go ahead and play this out. Tamiyo's fine. Right, they are passing. I'm going to Surveil. Looking for anything that's not a land. That, actually, I don't think I want that. Too reactive. Well, I got it anyway. I should have played out my land because then I would have Hardcast Force up. That was a misplay. Okay, I am going to play it out now. 5 minutes on the clock. I think I attempt to force this. I mean, I can stop whatever they put in. But what if they put in 2? That could be seriously bad. Yeah, I'm not going to attempt to force because they may have days and I can consign to memory and stop as many triggers as I need to here. All right. Here is the big guy. Oh, it's the plow. You know, I hate to do this, but I think I do force this. Yeah, I'm going to attempt to force, and I'll hold consign up. And it's totally possible they blow me out here. They could, okay. It is totally possible. I'm going to acknowledge that right now. But my thinking is, if they don't, consign is good against a lot of their deck. But if they don't, oops. They're probably licking their chops, getting ready to daze me. I have 2 cards left in hand. One of them could be the monster. I mean, they're eating a clue. Okay, so now they have 3 cards in hand. All right. Now they don't have the mana to do anything. Tamiyo doesn't flip. I'm feeling not terrible. I'm feeling quite good. Let's go ahead and attack. I can end step, bounce something, and flash in Brazen Borrower. Brazen Bee. All right, they're low. I just need to get through the scary robot phase of the turn. I think this is fine. I mean, I could ambush this. I'm going to do it. Let me know if you think this is brazen in the comments, if you think that I should not be doing this. They've got 4 cards in hand. Okay. Are they going to Plow to Protector? I'd much rather that be going at my borrower than my Nethergoyf. Okay, they're hitting the Nethergoyf. That's fine. They get a clue. So she's already replaced herself. I tap very badly tapping these basics here. I should have 100% not done that. Doesn't look like I'm going to get punished. All right. Tamiyo hath fallen. All right, I think I'm just going to attack in and then deploy a Psychic Frog. I would love for them to trade here, and I think they do have to trade here because this is an enabler. I don't even care about this Brazen Borrower. If they go to 1, I'll be incredibly impressed at the resolve. All right, and I've learned from my mistake. I am going to tap like this to bring Psychic Frog out. 3 minutes on the clock. They likely have removal. Get lost, maybe? Maybe they're hoping to get an extra card out of me. Well, I'm going to go ahead and attack in, sending Psychic Frog to its demise. That's fine. I'll hopefully eventually I've got like 18 creatures in my deck, so hopefully I will eventually get a chance to use those. Best draw in my deck is probably a Bowmaster. This is fine. I'm just going to stop the first thing that comes out of this. I won't be able to stop the second. Hopefully they have Phyrexian Dreadnought as the second one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just play out a bunch of mana. I'm just going to replicate this. Replicate. Okay, replicate as an additional cost. Yeah, I'm going to replicate 4 times. I should be able to choose targets for these. They can stifle the replicate trigger. I should have actually hit... No, I hit the actual null drifter with the first one. So if they stifle the replicate trigger, I still do get to... okay, how do I hit it? Okay, that one... Same target. Same target. So I've got 3 on the null drifter and 2 on the trigger. It's terrifying because I'm so low on clock. But I think I'm figuring out the replicate. This will be my first time to ever successfully cast replicate. I'm just going to F6 here. Nothing more to be done. We stop their scary thing. Their dress down is about to die. Do they have a monster? They do. Well, luckily we have a push. So assuming that yeah, this should be a creature. It's not a creature. I thought these first. I know it does me damage, but I just need to make sure that they don't have something that can stop this. Okay, I will take that. I will push this. I'm F6ing through their turn as well. We were both hellbent. They drew a land. They should just waste all my lands just to reduce the possibility of me doing stuff. Bowmaster, please. Strix, I will take. Land, please. Oh, that's great. I'll take that. All right, I'm pushing. F6ing, I mean. having trouble with my speech faculties as I furiously click things. Let me go ahead and play this. I'm going to hit them. Okay, their top card is a dead card. I'm gonna map. Yes. What was the top card? Okay, yes. Put it in the graveyard. Okay. I'm just going to do this again. Top card is... yeah, if it's a fatal push, I don't need it. I hope I'm reading this correctly. Sometimes the log gets screwed up. Okay. Wow, I forgot that it also buffed the Strix. That's great. So they have to have... Oh, we actually know they're drawing a Wasteland here, so we've won. Wow, that was intense. We're 3-0. Thank you for sticking with me as I struggle through that. That was a struggle. Those were some insane games, and it really came down to like Hellbent land. And we won with 1 minute and 16 seconds on the clock. So I'm going to take a break for a few minutes. It'll be seamless. Don't worry. Through the magic of editing, I am going to time travel to round 4 right now. We're back, and we are against an unknown opponent. I don't believe I've ever played against this person. This hand is pretty good, though. I'm going to keep it. We have access to both of our basics. We have some removal. We have Tamiyo to push things forward. We've got double cantrip. All right. Island Ponder, classic opening. Doesn't give away a lot about what they're playing. They have played Riskaminator in the past, which was several months ago, and they've also played Goblins. They're obviously not on Goblins. I think what I do is I just go get an island and a Tamiyo. And I mean, I have protected Tamiyo next turn, but I think it's fine to get on board. If they use a removal spell on this, they won't be able to use a removal spell on my subsequent card. If they daze this, it's tempo negative. You know, if they're dazing it, I think I'm going to daze it. I don't think a combo deck would daze that. I think they're a fair deck. And next turn, I have a very clean thing that I can do with my land that I'll play, which is flip Tamiyo. All right, another fetch. All right, another Tamiyo. I think I'm going to go ahead and land, attack, and be ready with the brainstorm. Now, it's not going to be a perfect brainstorm, but I think it's worth it to just start taking her up. They've got nothing on board. We do have a lot of lands. I think it's fine to do this, though. All right. Wow. This is so good. My goodness. Okay. So we can put back this. We'll redraw this. She's going to flip. All right. And we'll pass. I'm feeling favored, despite the fact that we were on the draw here. All right. So I suspect they're on a blue-white X deck. I will force to protect Tamiyo if they have a Prismatic Ending. They might be on... I haven't seen any reason to think that they're on the blue-white Stifle Knot deck, but that is my instinct at this point. I'm going to play this out. I'm going to plus here. So options. One, we could ponder. I don't think they have any immediate way to punish a ponder. I think what I want to look for is... What do I want to look for? Actually, I think I'm not going to do anything. I like all the cards in my hand. I do want to get a swamp out, and the next turn I can frog. I'll definitely pitch Tamiyo to force, but until I know a little bit more about what they're on, I don't want to do anything here. I can crack a clue if nothing happens end step. Okay, it looks like nothing is happening. This could elicit a Stifle, which is totally fine because I've got another one. All right, that is the Stifle. Now I definitely think that they're on Stifle Knot. So options. We could just force this and then we can crack the clue and draw a card. That's mana efficient. I think it's better to hold the force and protect Tamiyo. All right, are they going to do anything else? Okay. So it's certainly possible that they have yet another Stifle. I'm going to use my Marsh Flats. First, I'm going to plus here. I'm going to go get a Swamp. See if they Stifle again. They didn't. All right, so we've got our colors. Options. One, we could ponder trying to find another form of interaction. We do have 2 blue cards to pitch. I think that's fine. If we can find a second force, that'd be amazing. These cards don't help. I'm going to shuffle. Okay. So as long as we protect Tamiyo, I think we can win this. They haven't shown any black mana, so they don't have Bowmasters that we know of. Looks like they're putting in Doorkeeper Thrall. I do think we forced this, sadly, because this represents Null Drifter. Yeah, I'm going to force. I've got Daze mana up. We can pitch Redundant Tamiyo. This gives them an opening to potentially bounce Tamiyo back to hand, which would be sad, but it's not the end of the world. But you always force the dress down to limit what they can do. So they could still Null Drifter here and then Stifle, and I can't stop that. But I do think it was important to deny them the 2-for-1 with dress down here. They've already used a Stifle. Yep, they don't have a Stifle. Okay, I think we're going to win now unless one of the cards they drew is Prismatic Ending. If that's the card they drew, then the game will continue. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure we win. Okay, and they scoop. Great. That's just how we drew it up. We have the benefit of having played the deck that they're playing a lot, so we kind of know intuitively its relative weaknesses. I think we have established that Consigned Memory is good enough to play against them. Long Goodbye is pretty good answer to a resolved Phyrexian Dreadnought, and it also can cleanly remove Doorkeeper Thrall with a Dreadnought on the stack, which is really good. Or Dreadnought Sacrifice Trigger on the stack. Orcish Bowmasters is quite good here because they are drawing cards and it can pressure their life total. Emperor of Bones is not good enough. We don't need the Nile Spell Bombs. They don't use their graveyard for anything. So let's take those out. Thoughtseize is quite good against these AB decks because we can take away whatever would enable their creatures. I do like bringing in a Orcish Bowmasters, and I might like that more than Consigned Memory. I think we played a match earlier against this deck. I can't remember if it was definitely yesterday. This is my first game of the day, where we were able to consign both the trigger and the monster, and I think that was quite strong. But it's not a 3-of, in my opinion. I think we could bring one of these in. I want to leave everything else, though. Daze is not good on the draw. I'm going to take the Dazes out, and I'm going to bring in Bowmasters, just so we have additional pressure. I think I'm going to bring in 2 Bowmasters and 1 Fatal Push. We're just going to play a little bit more removal, just to respect the fact that they can kill us outright. Yeah, and I think I do want to keep Force of Will in, just because it is a 2-for-1, or a 1-for-2. Yeah, I think I'll keep these in on the play, and then on the draw, I'll take them out completely. I'm sorry, on the play, I'll take them out completely and replace them with days if there's a round 3 or a game 3. Right? So we're on the draw again against a very powerful, explosive deck that can definitely take advantage of tempo with probably 4 stifles, four wastelands, probably 4 dazes, although I've switched to 3 dazes. My general conventional wisdom, as I've said probably ad nauseum on the channel, is you really only want 4 dazes in your, super 1-drop heavy decks like Delver, and maybe in combo decks. Like I could definitely see having 4 dazes in Cephalid Breakfast, for example, or Doomsday. Or in Blue-Black Reanimator, the top deck in the format right now, most likely. If you looked at I just finished watching the coverage of the Four Seasons Open in Bologna. It was a 380 plus person tournament. I think it was around that many. And my man, Andrea Mangucci, sorry for the spoiler, but totally just killed it with Cradle Control, which was not a deck I was expecting him to play. But obviously he's an expert pilot and he can play anything. But there were a lot of Blue-Black Reanimator decks there, and they did quite well. So I do think it's likely that Blue-Black remains the best deck going into Eternal Weekend, and it's quite possible that I'll have to maybe switch to it. The deck I like, of course, this deck that I'm playing right now, which I will call, mid-range, with Nethergoyfs and Tamios and Frogs. It is not, there wasn't a single instance of it in the top 8, and I couldn't find any of the other deck lists, so I don't know how many people played it, but I imagine a lot of people played it. But it could be that most of the players that were playing this deck switched over to Blue-Black Reanimator once they realized that Blue-Black Reanimator was still viable even without Grief. So I'm just going to chill and study some Chinese idioms while I wait for my opponent to eventually come here. This is a strong keep. It doesn't have any disruption, but it does have island, lots of land, and it has 2 Psychic Frog. So I think we can probably power through the removal, so I'm going to keep this. All right. Island Ponder, baby. I don't know if you saw the game where I went up against Bosch and Roll, and I kept an Island Ponder keep hand, just ironically, and then I proceeded to not find the second land. Yeah, that was brutal. Okay, so I think here they're tapped out. I think it's totally reasonable to just go grab our island and ponder. We know what we're looking for. We're looking for Force. Or Fatal Push, I think, is also a good pickup. I mean, that's pretty damn good. I'm not shipping these. Psychic Frog is unnecessary at this point. I think we'll just do this. I don't think they have anything that is going to look at my hand, so there's no reason to hide what I've got going on over here. All right, they're passing. This could be in-step dress down, which unfortunately I can't really do anything about. I can just push the monster that comes out of it, unless the monster is... Okay, so my thinking is the highest value permanent to put on the table right now is Psychic Frog, and that might bait removal. Yeah, we've got so many different ways to get a swamp. The other thing to consider is we might want them to waste us because we have so much stuff going on. What our top card is yet another Psychic Frog. I don't think that's good though, but I am worried about okay, so if they stifle me here, that means they're not going to dress down. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get the swamp here. See if they let me. Okay, they let me. So that means likely they're going to have end-step dress down. So I'm going to frog here and see if they have anything to say about that. All right, frog is through. So I think there's probably a 90% chance of a dress down or a thrall here. Got movement. We got movement all over the place. They also went basics, which is a respectable call. Doorkeeper Thrall. Okay, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to push Doorkeeper Thrall with the monster on the stack. If they fetch here, I'm going to be scared. Okay, so this is going to be Null Drifter. That's dangerous. The good news is Orcish Bowmasters does create a little body that we can throw under the bus. Okay. Yeah, that was smart of them to not have attacked because I would definitely jump. All right. Okay, so options. 1, we could just attack in with the frog and see how many creatures they block with. Nethergoyf is currently a 2/3, and if we push this, which I'd really like to push this with, something important on the stack. Let's think about this. So I don't think there's any problem with just playing out the Underground Sea. Well, I'm going to play this out just in case I can fetch the Surveil Land here. I am going to attack. And I am going to be ready to pitch several cards if they block. If they double block, I'll just kill the Doorkeeper Thrall. Actually, I'll push the Doorkeeper Thrall if they double block, and then I'll pitch a bunch of stuff. Because killing this Null Drifter is a very high priority here. Oh, they're not doing anything. They're not blocking. Okay, well, that's fine. I'm just going to draw a card. Wait, do we know that this is... Did we fetch already? I think we already fetched, so we don't... The top card is unknown. Okay, Ponder's good. Okay, cards in my deck that can answer this would really just include Brazen Borrower, which I'm pretty sure I boarded that in. Let's take a look at our sideboard here. Brazen Borrower does it, but that's like a next turn thing. I think what we do here is we just play out a Nethergoyf, and then we can attempt to Bowmaster when they attack. Is that good? They're going to deal 5 damage to us, and then we're going to swing back and deal a lot of damage to them. Okay, the other option, of course, play a second Psychic Frog that can jump, but is certainly vulnerable to Plow if they have Plow. We have to decide. I like keeping Bowmaster up and Fatal Push. I think that's what I'm going to do. I mean, the other option, of course, was Ponder, but I like being able to Bowmasters. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to Bowmasters. This definitely sets me up for, Stifle Daze. I think I'm going to go ahead and fetch now, just to reduce the likelihood that they get the Stifle Daze combo. There is the other Brainstorm. Wow, they're really going deep. If they find a Daze now. Yeah, this was dumb. I shouldn't have fetched now because they can just Daze my Bowmaster and it'll be catastrophic. Wow, they had double Brainstorm in hand. I don't know that I was beating their hand with anything. Yeah, they're forcing here. Okay, that is fine. All right, but I am getting my land. I'm going to get a Surveil Land, and then I'm just going to immediately sack it to the Annihilator trigger. Just want to see. Don't really need another Goyf here. Actually, you know what? Double Nethergoyf next turn. These are going to get pretty big pretty quickly. Yeah, I think I'm going to double Nethergoyf here. Because we're going to be able to get an instant in the graveyard. We can kill the Doorkeeper Thrall if we need to, or pitch it to Psychic Frog. All right, I'm just going to sack that. I'll take 4. Dreadnought. Okay, so what we can do is we can just push the Dreadnought next turn, but then we can only 1 Goyf. Still think that's fine. Yeah, I'm not feeling great about this game, but I'm gonna do my best here. I do think we need to find a force just in case they have a force for our Fatal Push. Otherwise, we're dead. Consign to Memory is not good enough. I'm just going to any order shuffle. Okay. So I think what we do is we just Fatal Push here. Okay, now I'm going to attack. I do want the card. I don't think they'll block. All right, we get our card. I'm going to play out a Goyf, and I'll pass. All right. Goyf's a 4/5. So we'll sack the non-basic here, unless they have a Wasteland. Yep, they have a Wasteland. So now I'm going to sack the blue source. What else do they have? Another Null Drifter. I'm just going to concede. I don't think we can beat this. Even with like lots of Null Drifter beats, Nethergoyf beats. We definitely had a window to get rid of Doorkeeper, and I kind of blew it. Upon rewatching, I'll go back and I'll rewatch that, but I'm pretty sure I screwed up somewhere. Daze would have been really good there. We didn't find a force, of course. Force is pretty bad against their deck. We're on the play, so Thoughtseize plays. I mean, I say force is bad against their deck, but I was actually actively digging for a force. I think we probably take out Consign to Memory, which is cute, and we go ahead and bring in a couple forces just to potentially tempo protect our combo on the table. Yeah, I like that. And when I say protect our combo is really just, we don't have a combo, but we get like a Tamiyo or another Goyf in play, and we just keep cranking. All right, this is a double Thoughtseize hand. This is a snap keep. Yeah, so this is great because I can Thoughtseize into Baleful Strix after I've eliminated the most immediate threat. And it'll also give me insight into whether they have Stifle, which is a very important card to play around here. Whether they have Daze. Like, this is potentially devastating against their deck. All right, so they do have a lot of ways of enabling Null Drifter. I don't want to take the Null Drifter, though. They do have Stifle for next turn. Okay, so options. One, we take the Stifle, and then we are basically guaranteed to be able to fetch next turn, which is very important. Is it, though? We could basically just park the Delta in play. The other option is to just strip their enablers. They've got 3 enablers for only 1 monster. But I don't think putting that monster in the graveyard is the answer because it's gonna take a while to get there. Dress down immediately cantrips. It also negatively interacts with our creatures. I think we take Stifle, and then next turn I'll deploy a Frog. Let's think about this. So we took the Stifle just to be sure because it does enable, like, if they were to suddenly draw, Phyrexian Dreadnought, that would be bad. Okay, they're not doing anything here. They're just fetching around our potential Stifle. So the best thing we could draw would be a Tamiyo. Brainstorm's not bad, but it's not really strong here. I do think I'm going to go ahead and Thoughtseize again. See what they drew here. Okay, they drew another Stifle, so I'm glad I didn't fetch into that. This is pretty bad because now they have basically a guaranteed way to get the Null Drifter out. Null Drifter is not the end of the world. Huh. Okay, yeah. I think I want to get rid of the Stifle. Because then at least I can... They're going to go to end step and they're probably going to flash in either Dress Down or Doorkeeper Thrall. That gives me... Yeah, I'm going to take the Stifle. I realize that's like very passive, but I don't want to get my land stifled here. I'm going to go ahead and fetch an island now. And if I brainstorm now, they're not going to be able to daze it. I can see some more cards. This is a rare kind of like imperfect brainstorm, just knowing that it's safe to brainstorm here. So fetch land would be great. Wasteland, depending on what they fetch, what is in their hand? They have a Flooded Strand, so they're just going to get a plane. So I don't want this. So I think I set it up to draw like this. And then next turn, I'm gonna have Polluted Delta. And I'll probably just go ahead and play out the, I'll fetch and then I'll play out the Strix and then, no, I'll fetch and then I'll play out the Psychic Frog. And I'll have Daze up for their enabler. And that'll buy like basically 1 turn. And if Frog starts hitting, that might be good enough. Okay, they're brainstorming here, which is fine. The scariest thing they could find would be probably like a Force of Will to force through their card. All right, so I'm just going to kind of clean up this real quick. So they use the Brainstorm. They lost the Stifle. So I believe... Oh, they actually played Plains from hand. So they may have put back the land. Or they may... I guess that means they liked everything they saw on the top because they didn't see the need to shuffle it. So what is their hand? They have 5 cards in hand. So they have these 4 cards still. And then 1 unknown. All right, my opponent is passing without play. They do have another land in their hand. So it's totally reasonable and totally safe for them to, wait and not walk into my daze. I'm going to attempt to fetch here. I would love for them to stifle this because I don't actually need this. Okay, they didn't. I'm going to get the untapped land just in case so I can daze proof myself. I'll go blue, black. Psychic Frog. All right, it's in. They have a lot of interaction in their deck. I'm going to hope that I can daze their Dress Down here. I believe that's what they're going to lead with. Doorkeeper Thrall is fine. Well, I'm going to counter it, but like I am going to counter that. But like I'm surprised they didn't lead with Dress Down because Dress Down gets you a card too. All right, so by keeping this untapped, even though we don't have anything to do with it, our opponent doesn't know that we don't have anything to do with it. Okay, so now they're shuffling, or I imagine they're going to do the Brainstorm Shuffle thing. They might Dress Down to prevent Psychic Frog from drawing, but I bet you they're looking for a plow here. Yep, there's the plow. That's fine. I'm going to just deploy another one next turn. But next turn, they are going to be able to potentially Dress Down into Null Drifter, which is fine because I do have a Baleful Strix that will trade with... I mean, it's not great, but it's better than nothing, right? Okay, so we're just going to repeat last turn. Blue, black, frog. So they're not going to be able to Dress Down into Null Drifter here. But if they Null Drifter into Stifle, then we can daze the Stifle. They've got a lot of land. Our daze is rapidly decreasing in value. All right, I would not be surprised to see a Dress Down here. That is a great draw. I'm going to go ahead and attack first. I'm just going to draw. I'm not going to pitch cards. And then I'm going to deploy my Strix here. All right, that's great. I'll play that out just for additional insurance against nasty stuff they could play, like Daze, Stifle. All right, this is in. We get another card. All right, so we could Tamiyo. I don't think they play any sweepers. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch first. I'm going to get an Underground Sea, and now I'm going to deploy Tamiyo. We've got such a board presence. It's going to be hard for them to catch up with this. I will force a Dress Down here. And I'm forcing the Hellbent. All my cards on the table. They have Null Drifter and something else. They can use the Null Drifter ability, and they might even be able to stifle it and get a bunch of cards. But I am going to be, potentially hitting them for a lot next turn. Plow is fine. Obviously, I'm Hellbent. I can just have 6 through the turn, really. If they don't have... It looks like they are going to try to Null Drifter here just to get some cards. Wow, look at all those basics. Glorious basics. Yep, Null Drifter's fine. All right. Nethergoyf is pretty strong. Go ahead and attack with both. Create a clue. Okay. I think I am going to crack this clue because it could be that there's something better than what's on top of my deck. Or like, oh, that doesn't actually do anything. I'm not going to play it out. I'm going to hold it. Just to intimidate my opponent. If this dies, this becomes much bigger. I'd be fine with them wasting me here. Plowing is also fine. I'm going to win through damage here. They're going to need a lot of stuff to get through my Nethergoyf. So they've used 3 of their 4 plows. They probably still have Prismatic Ending in their deck. If they had the Stifle, this is going to be devastating. They didn't have it. Okay, that's great. All right, so we're not drawing from Tamiyo anymore. They turned off our Howling Mine. I am going to use this now to boost. I'll look at their top card. It's a dead card at this point in the game. All right, I'm just going to attack for 5. And we'll see what I draw here. It is worth playing this out just because I could draw Force of Will and then I can hardcast it. All right, Ponder's a good pickup. Double Thoughtseize at the beginning of the game was so powerful here. Taking away their stifles and giving me early game momentum. Because I would be like totally screwed had they stifled one of my early lands. It would have taken me a while to draw more. This is fine. We can't do anything about this. Do they have the stifle? Do they have the... They don't. We're getting super lucky dodging Null Drifter bullets. They're basically paying a ton of mana for a divination-like effect where they just get 2 cards. There's their land drop. They have 4 cards in hand. We don't know what they are. Tamiyo's quite good. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and ponder, because if I can find any sort of card here. Yeah, and it would be nice to find a force just in case they do have interaction for my Goyf. Okay, here's the plow. Path. Ouchie. Yeah, well, that's going to hit it, and I don't have any more land, so I'll just say no. So another one, and a force, or a brainstorm. Okay, so here's what I think I do. I play Tamiyo, and then I brainstorm. And assuming they can't interact with that, I've got a lot of action from there. I am going to go ahead and attack just to see if they want to use like interaction on this. All right, so let's Tamiyo. Let's flip Tamiyo. They may force this. No. All right, so I don't need this right now. I do want Nethergoyf. Plus Nethergoyf. They are 1 mana away from being able to hard cast Null Drifter, but I think they've already gone through 3 of them, and I'm not sure if they even play a 4th one. I think I am going to hit this. My reasoning is that I don't want them to waste one of my lands, because I am going to go up to a Force of Will mana next turn. I don't care about them having double white mana. I don't think they're playing Wrath of the Skies. Doorkeeper Thrall, okay. Scary. If they have the card, which I'm naked to. I don't even have a Fatal Push in my yard. This is pretty catastrophic. All right. That works. All right. So I think the only responsible play is to Tamiyo minus to try to find a, to get a Ponder. Let's get a Ponder back. And this maximizes looks for a Fatal Push. Stifle. Ouch. Okay, so we're not completely dead, but we're like mostly dead here. Our top card is also a land. Are we deterministically dead? So if they attack with Strix, or I'm definitely going to block with Strix, and I'll have to double block actually, but I can bring back Nethergoyf. Nethergoyf can come back. We've got 4 types in the graveyard. So then I'll try to bring back Nethergoyf and beat them down with that. There's also a chance that they attack Tamiyo just to get her off the table. In fact, what I would do is I would attack Tamiyo with Doorkeeper Thrall. Oh, I think they made a mistake there. They may be able to push one of these. Wait, this is attack. Oh, this is attacking Tamiyo? Well, I'm not going to be able to stop it. So I'm going to, I am going to trade here. All right, they have 2 cards in hand. Another Dreadnought, which we can't force. Definitely feeling dead here. Okay, we're drawing a land. So we will have Hardcast Force up, but we have to block and then bring back. So, yeah, this is not good. I'm feeling super duper dead. I'm not sure if I made a misplay this game. I do stand by taking those stifles in the opener. Certainly taking these enablers would have been more objectively powerful. Did we already use our Surveillian in this game? I don't think we did. So I'm going to block here to survive. And if they don't have a spell, if they do cast a spell, I'm going to force it. Okay, so I'm going to get my Surveillian here. Looking for a Fatal Push. Or Brazen Borrower. Actually, Brazen Borrower is not good enough. I will take a Brainstorm. All right, and their last card may be Force. They can just hardcast. Bringing back Nethergoyf doesn't win. We have to get the Dreadnought off the table. They are leaving us in suspense here as to whether our Brainstorm is going to resolve. Nope. Hardcast Force is death. Good games. All right, well, Trophy Run's dead. That sucks. I feel like we are slightly favored in this matchup. I'm convinced that I just made some suboptimal plays somewhere along the line. If you have ideas for how I should have played this game differently, please leave the comments, especially if you can add a timestamp. That's super helpful for me to understand which specific play you're talking about. Do you think, question of the day, do you think Thought Seizing the Stifles was correct there, or should I have just eaten the Stifles and hoped to draw more land? My recent experience getting mana screwed tells me that I did need to take those Stifles. But at the same time, had I just taken the well, they certainly would have drawn more because they drew 3 Null Drifters during that game. Dress Down's a one-time enabler. Thrall is very good, Doorkeeper Thrall. And if you watch my Knock Knock video, you'll see how good I think Doorkeeper Thrall is. Yeah, it's a strong card. I'm not sure that it's way better than that artifact, the 2-mana Torpor Orb. Torpor Orb is also quite good, and I may throw a Torpor Orb into my blue-black deck, just my blue-black Stifle Knot deck, just to have another one. There's an amazing card that is not available on MTGO that fits right into blue-black Stifle Knot, which is it's called Curie Emergent Intelligence, like Madame Curie, basically. Yeah, that card's not available on MTGO, but during the 4 seasons, there was a guy with the last name Chica who went, I think he went like 6 or 7-1-1 was his final record, and he was playing the Curie Stifle Knot combo. All right, Retro Gamer 27. We are on the play. So let's, being on the play is a great start. Let's go see what Gamer 97 was the name. How do I get this to go away? Okay, Retro Gamer 27. All right, most recently on Jeskai Control, which Jeskai Control is quite good now. Unfortunately, this hand is no colored mana. This is one of the reasons I went down to 3 Wastelands, is to decrease the frequency with which we have to deal with this. This is solid, super solid. I think, I don't suspect them being on combo. I'm going to put back the Force of Will. Actually, you know, I think I'm going to put back the Fatal Push. Alternatively, I could put back one of the lands. Could put back the Wasteland. If they're on Jeskai, there's nothing to waste. Yeah, I'll do that. All right. So I'm just going to plop this out here, and once we know a little more about their deck, we can surveil. Actually, I think, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just get an Underground Sea and play another Goyf. And had I done that the other way, I would have probably fetched the Swamp just as a precaution. But I had already played out the Misty Rainforest, which can only fetch islands. All right, they're forcing that. I'll take it. That can come back later. And that's a force they don't have for my Psychic Frog. If you think Nether Goyf is menacing, wait till you see Psychic Frog. All right, Jeskai vibes. I don't know, something about that basic, it just seems like the kind of like, you want your blue, your white, and your red, like lined up next to each other. Just gives me those vibes. They could have Blood Moon. I think it's totally reasonable to just get the island here, just to de-risk a little bit. Again, the fetch sequence punishing me a little bit. It's highly likely that they plow this. Brainstorming, maybe to find a force. I'm always happy when my opponent 2-for-1s themselves. I didn't even look at what they exiled. Yeah, definitely they're on Jeskai Control. So I should have put back the Fatal Push probably, but it's not going to matter necessarily. I can pitch the Fatal Push to Frog. It's not like Wasteland has a ton of targets in this deck. I say as they probably play. Like, let's see if they go get like against these cards. You probably they are getting a Tundra. Wow. Okay, so that Wasteland would have been better than the Fatal Push most likely. Wasteland is particularly good against this when they go for Tundras because you can waste their white source and then they can't miracle because they have to have the white mana, during their draw step in order to cast both of their miracle cards. One of their miracle cards costs double white. I don't think they're playing that. I think they're probably playing Fourth Aerolingus. Not a great top deck. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play it out because it represents the ability to get a Surveillant here. I'm just going to attack. I'm not going to put any power into this. I just want to draw a card. All right. They've even got a Frog as their... Okay. So I think playing Tamiyo here is dangerous because they pondered their... they didn't shuffle, which means they may have They may have a Terminus on top, so I'm going to respect the fact that they could have Terminus, and I'm not going to play with Tamiyo. I'll play with Tamiyo when I can protect her to potentially draw out a removal spell. The fact that they haven't cast any removal spells yet, and they probably have like 7 in their deck, tells me this frog is not long for this world. That's fine. I probably will force a removal spell on Frog, because Frog is like a guaranteed card draw each turn that is on the table. Okay. I'm going to Surveil. With this mana base, I'm not too worried about them playing Blood Moon or Back to Basics. They certainly could. But they're going to need their mana more than I need in mine. It's going into the bin. Bullet dodged. All right. If this is a cantrip, I'm willing to effectively go to Hellbent to prevent my Frog from getting killed. They have a second one. They do. All right. Well, let's see what our deck gives us. This is pretty much par for the course. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it now. We do want momentum. Time is not on our side in this matchup. So I'm going to put this back for sure. I'll put this back. This is pretty bad. These are all pretty bad. I am going to play this out so that I can play out the Spell Bomb here. We're just going to play out the Strix, and then we'll play the Spell Bomb, and then we'll probably just cast the Brazen Borrower unless they give us something to target with it, because we need to do damage. And I'm definitely going to cycle this non-Spell Bomb at the soonest convenience, because they're not yet able to put cards on top of their deck. So we're going to draw a dead card here. Now we're going to draw a not dead card. An undead card, if you will. All right, Ponder is a great rip. Now I'm going to Ponder. I think this is a shuffle. Brainstorm's great. I'm going to hold it for another turn, though, just to maximize the cards I get to look at. Am I going to, though? Did I already played a land for this turn? Let's check. I can't remember. I did not. So if I find a fetch, I can potentially put back this awkward Fatal Push. Oh, so I'm going to go to post-combat before I do this. Rainstorm. This is pretty good. I think I go ahead and take the Thoughtseize now. I'll just put these back. Do I want to Thoughtseize? I'm going to Thoughtseize, and then, because I might not even need to use this Underground Sea. Let's just see what they have in their hand. If they have a spot removal, I can get it. They may have just a bunch of lands. Triumph would have come down next turn, so I'm glad to have gotten that out of the way. Again, their hand currently is, I think, Island Plateau. Yeah, I'll just pass, and I'll hold the Underground Sea for Brainstorm equity in the future. I don't suspect they're going to interact with my mana at all. So they're going to Surveil here. Red confirmed. They did use it to get rid of a land. Okay, now they have Triumph mana up should they want to do that. Teferi's a nightmare, but if they bounce Strix, it's not the end of the world. If they bounce anything else, we can kill Teferi. All right, they're doing it. I think this is a super questionable play. Because, I don't really care about attacking Teferi. I care about, drawing through and finding good interaction. Okay, so I'm not going to... Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by playing out Borrower. Or playing out Strix. They're brainstorming in response. I would love for them to, force this. Because if they force this, I'll just plop down the Psychic Frog. Okay, it's in. All right, card drawn. Yeah, this is the Fatal Push that will forever haunt us. There is certainly a risk that they stack their deck in a certain way. I think this is the lowest impact card that we can play out. If both of these get wiped, it's not the end of the world. There's not really anything worth bouncing in their deck, generally. Yes, you can bounce a Triumph back to hand and stuff, but I need to kill Teferi next turn for sure, because it's going to be a total pain if I don't. And if they use their... they do have the ability to put a Terminus back on top if they use a Terminus here. What is this? Okay, so Comet is scary. and but Comet is also very unpredictable. Okay, so they get a couple creatures that can't really do anything. They can attack me, but that's not a big deal. So I think at this point we have to fire one at Teferi and one at Comet. I'll just take this damage. I am going to deploy my frog next turn. I can't wait. Okay, another Fatal Push. Terrible draw. Okay, so we're going to go to combat. This will attack Teferi. This will attack Comet. Teferi should go down here. I don't think there's a blue instant that can save Teferi. Now I'm just going to go ahead and deploy my frog, and I'm going to hope that frog survives. I can pitch up to 2 cards here. Spell Snare. No! I think they won on the back of Spell Snare being situationally amazing in that very specific context. All right. Yeah, they killed my thing. Okay, they're brainstorming. I don't think we're likely to win. I'm just going to F6 to save time. I do think that this could go to time. If they have another Narset, I think I'm going to concede. Yeah, I'll just... we weren't winning that one. I could have just like waited. They're playing very fast though, so I don't imagine that it's going to go to time and we win because it went to time. I think what's likely to happen is we lose because it goes to time. So because I'm a slower player than my opponent probably is. Okay, Harbinger is not terrible. Hydroblast is definitely good. Okay, and then the cards that are coming out, Fatal Push. I mean, our opponent really makes it easy by not playing any creatures. Emperor of Bones is not good. Emperor of Bones is something that can attack. I mean, these Nile spell bombs don't do anything, but they do kind of help remove our opponent's graveyard in a very specific context, which is, oh, you know what? Emperor of Bones might be okay because they do have damage-based removal as well. And if they like force like a Baleful Strix, I can bring it back. I could definitely trim one Nile spell bomb. I mean, I could trim 2. Yeah, I think this is fine. I don't really see anything to bring in. I'm not going to bring in Long Goodbye. I'm not going to bring in Toxic Deluge. Those are the only other candidates. We're just going to hope to Bowmaster them. And, what you do against these control decks, their long game is so much better than yours. You have to apply pressure. And so that's what we're going to try to do here. Keeping all my daisies in, all my forces. I'm not bringing in Force of Negation, which is, sometimes a good card against them. And at the same time, you just have to be careful not to overextend yourself when you're trying to beat them down. So mulligan. This is a keep. They're not going to go after our mana. I'll just get Underground Sea and I will ponder. And I'll put the Spellbomb back. I think it's the least impactful card here. I mean, there's always the possibility that they are playing back to basics. But I think with the cards in our hand, we do want to play with confidence. Because if we fetch an island, they're going to know that, like, oh, that deck never fetches island. I don't think a Wasteland is the answer. I'm just going to, yeah. Okay, well, we got a Wasteland anyway, which is not bad. I mean, we have days in our hand. So next turn, we can Brainstorm, potentially find a fetch, and shuffle away the Wasteland. Because they're not going to be fetching non-basics. They're going to be fetching basics. All right, Tamiyo. We don't have anything going on next turn. I think it's fine to daze this. I mean, if we draw a land, we just play out the Strix and she can never attack and create value. But yeah, I think I'm going to do it. Because we're not guaranteed to draw a land here. And I would rather put Wasteland back than use it. If they force here, that'll be great. I don't think they play daze. Okay. All right. Ding dong, the witch is dead. All right, that's pretty good. This can get a Surveil land. I think it's totally reasonable. And then we have Brainstorm if we need it. We are giving up a lot of tempo here by just getting Surveil land, but next turn we can deploy the Frog and force them to have removal and removal colors. So they can't fetch a basic plains off of this, and we can potentially waste. Okay, so that is Red Elemental Blast. So I do think I want to put Psychic Frog on the stack first because them removing Baleful Strix, at least I get a card for it. Psychic Frog can jump on the Pyroblast grenade and make way for Baleful Strix. With Surveillance, the main card I'm looking for, and I wouldn't be opposed to a Daze. Ask and you shall receive. All right. It's definitely possible that they just are patient and wait and don't try to blast this on the stack. But we're going to see how aggressive they are here. I am going to bring the Underground Sea back because I do want to cast something next turn. They're forcing. Nice. It's a nice exchange. Yep. And your Pyroblast cannot resolve because of Daze, but okay. Yeah, we've already played our land. Next turn, we'll play out the Strix and hope that they don't have another Pyroblast. I think if they had another Pyroblast, they just untap and Pyroblast. They wouldn't force there. Okay, what's this? Yep, they're going to go get a Tundra, which I'm going to waste. Brainstorm. Actually, I'm not going to waste yet. I'm going to wait a turn. So I want to get the Strix on the table. Is that important? Let's see. Maybe it is more important to waste them. I want to draw one drop. I think what I do is I play out the Strix, and next turn I can Bowmaster and waste. The reason I want to play the Strix out is I just want to eat up their removal. They don't have a Red Blast untapped right now, so I am going to get the card for it. Spell Snare. Yeah, that would have hit my my Bowmaster, so I'm glad that that happened. Bowmaster is the best card in the entire matchup, so I definitely want to clear the way for that. Okay, Fourth Aerolingus would be bad here. Narset is not, but I mean, it's pretty bad, but it's not the worst because I have Orcish Bowmasters that can take loyalty off. What I'll probably have to do is just Bowmasters main phase. Let's see what they put in their hand. If they put a Plow, I'm going to be very sad. They put Comet. Interesting. Well, I'm going to waste them off of 4 mana, so maybe they won't be able to cast Comet immediately. All right, so I think the play is we play this out. I am going to go ahead and just do this now. I'm not going to try to get them because that's how they get us with cards like Spell Snare, which they could already get us with. Brainstorm, that's fine. Wish I had the luxury of being able to brainstorm here. Probably looking for a land. So if we were able to knock a loyalty off Narset, they're not going to be able to dig again, and they'll probably just need to keep it on the table. Lock us out, but they may get greedy and dig. But if they have another, Narset, then it's totally fine for them to dig. Right, and now we're just going to hit the White Source and pass. Yeah, I think Spell Snare is probably a one of in the 75. It's not a terrible card right now, but it hasn't seen a lot of play recently. Just it does nothing against Eldrazi. So you wouldn't want to have that main deck, but our opponent seems to have it in main deck because I think they used it last game too. Ponder. In absolute emergency, we do have end step Brazen Borrower. Yeah, I'll just hit that. Do you want to cast any other cantrips? Let's see. What do they do with the they did shuffle with that, so that implies that they may not be finding what they need. I think we just attack all at Narset just to ensure she dies. I know that's like not the aggro thing to do. Yeah, I'm just going to attack her with everything. Because I don't want them to remove one of these and then keep her around. Galvanic Blast could be good here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm. Did I play a land already? I can't remember if that was last turn and this turn. Let's see. I have to check the log. Yeah, I played an island. Yeah, I shouldn't have played that island. That was pretty dumb, huh? Okay, well, I'm going to draw all these cards anyway. They're fine. I think I'm going to Netherglyph now. I am going to... They're not representing the ability... Oh, I should have put Brazen Borrower back in so I could ponder. Yeah, they're not representing the ability to Terminus, which is the scariest thing they can do here. Another Narset is fine. They are going to get to dig, but I'm going to definitely eliminate that next turn. They don't have the ability to cast anything unless they are holding back their land drop. Right. So now I'm just going to attack these two, and I'm going to attack them with the Netherglyph. So we'll draw our Ponder. Okay. Go to combat. Attack. Attack. All right, and we're starting to do some damage now. I do want to find a force. These are not terrible cards. I don't want the land. Actually, I think I'm going to any order shuffle this because I could still spike like a daze or a force. That's too bad. Yeah, I think I just hold that. And I have Brazen Borrower. If they do get the big dog into play, I can potentially bounce it. They don't have anything. Wow. All right. Psychic Frog is a great pickup. I'm going to go ahead and attack in and see if they have any interaction first. I don't think I'm going to play Psychic Frog. I'm worried about them wrathing the board. Is that irrational? They would need a white source. I am going to play it out just to reduce. So this is an aggressive play, but I don't think that they can do anything about it. They can pyro here, which is fine. Okay, here I am. Because they're like so close to dead, I want to be able to borrow if they have some sort of thing that stops my creatures from being able to attack for lethal. That's fine. They can go get the planes, and then they can potentially plow one of these, but they're still going to have to deal with the other one. Yeah, that may have unlocked their hand if they have another plow in hand. Yeah, and I don't have the mana. I don't have the mana to play out Borrower. What I'll do is I'm just going to attack with everything. Actually, I'm going to try to find another Bowmaster. Okay, I did. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Thoughtseize them just to make sure they can't interact with this. Okay, none of these cards matter, but I will take this. And then I can just, Bowmaster them. And they're dead. They are not conceding because they know that I'm like lower on clock. All right, we got there. Thoughtseize was good. I mean, it didn't do anything, but it could have done something. I can see why their hand got jammed up. Wasteland was pretty good there. Like two different occasions, they had to get Tundra instead of being able to get planes, and we were able to keep them off white. Super effective. Okay, so I didn't see anything that makes me change like our approach. I don't think Nile Spellbomb is particularly powerful here. I didn't see anything that Consign to Memory can hit. Force Negation is actually probably not the worst here, considering the sheer volume of things they could have. But I'm not sure what we would take out. Actually, I think I'm going to take out some... Do I want to take out Dazes? We did use some of the Dazes there, didn't we? I can't remember. Yeah, we dazed turn 1. Would that have mattered? I think on the draw, we take these out and we put these in. Like, pretty much everything in their deck is non-creature spell. And just being able to 2-for-1, like a Narset or something, I think is worth it. And then later, we can aggressively play out our lands so that we'll be able to hardcast these. All right, this is a heater of a hand. Look at this. We got, we've got our mana, we've got artifact, we've got Bowmasters, instant. So I think we open Bobble, and then we just go wave. And I happen to draw fetches that allow me to play on basics. I'm not sure if that's important. I don't see how that would be bad, though. So I'm just going to start with this and see what their top card is. And if it happens to be, back to basics, then I will get fetch my basics. They're probably going to shuffle this away. Tameo. Okay. Yeah, I think I can just get my basics. Would not be surprised at all if they just instep plow this. And I actually wouldn't mind if they do shuffle away the known... I mean, generally the conventional wisdom is you do shuffle away the top card just because that way you're limiting the amount of information your opponent has. Force Negation is good. Would I protect another Whiff here from a plow? Okay, planes. So Wasteland's not going to be as good here. I think we hold the... this is a 1-for-1 exchange. I think we just hold it. All right. And here comes Tameo. That's great. So what I'm going to do is they're going to be inclined to attempt to flip her. And when they do, I will be there with my Orcish Bowmasters backed up with Force Negation to ping her out of existence. And I think because of all the brainstorms, I'm just going to keep the the fetches in hand, or the fetch in hand. They're going to combat. All right, we're taking it. Sadly, we can't really Bowmaster unless they choose to Brainstorm here. I am going to do it. I need to apply pressure here. That's fine. Brainstorm does flip her. However, we're in the end step, so they're not. She's just going to die. This is actually a really bad play, in my opinion, because she's going to be a 2 loyalty, and I can just attack and kill her. So yeah, happy to let my opponent make that mistake. But if they attempt to counter my Bowmasters now, I will 100% force. Okay, and it looks like they're forcing here, so I will force back, and we'll see whether they have yet another force. If they don't, I'll feel like I'm in a pretty good position. All right, I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good. That is a reference to Curb Your Enthusiasm, by the way. Any Curb fans in the house? All right, so let's go ahead and I'm just going to waste them off this before I forget, because that's important. Now I'm going to go to combat. Both of them are going to attack Tamiyo. I'm going to deploy my own Tamiyo here. Can I? Oh, I already wasted. I'm going to wait. I'll deploy Tamiyo next turn, because Tamiyo is going to potentially be able to draw me a lot of cards through clues before I flip her, and then I'll just flip in response to removal. All right, they didn't have a land. That's great news. Okay, so I think I am going to play this out. I'm just going to attack first. I probably could have Tamiyo'd first just in case I do need to emergency Brainstorm. So we'll play Tamiyo out and we'll pass with Tamiyo ability on the stack in case they miracle flip Terminus. They didn't. Whoa, we did it! Woof! 4-1. We beat Jeskai Control, which is not a great matchup, but it is when you have 4 Bowmasters in your sideboard. So we lost only to blue-white Stifle Knot, which, again, great deck that I've played on this channel. So thoughts on the list? It felt incredible. This is by far the best blue-black kind of mid-rangey, tempo-y control. I'll just call it blue-black Nethergoyf, because let's face it, like every deck has 4 Tamiyo, every deck has 4 Frog. What differentiates this deck? That we're playing for Nethergoyf. So yeah, it felt amazing to just beat people over the head with our Nethergoyfs. And at the same time, to have access to just tons of value. Like Baleful Strix was great. It felt great there. It often buffed the Nethergoyf. We traded this for a Phyrexian Dreadnought. We did a lot of stuff during the first 3 rounds that I can't remember because that was yesterday. These baubles, like I was kind of like, I was thinking about cutting the baubles for Nihil Spellbomb just because it's like, you know, like it really sucks when somebody has a Vexian bauble out and you draw Mishra's bauble and you don't even get a card for it. I do think like with how powerful, I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable to add a 3rd Nihil Spellbomb. Nihil Spellbomb is just so flexible. I mean, it's 2 mana to cycle it. You can just leave it on the table. It's an easy thing that you can substitute out. I mean, and we could potentially even cut the Bauble. Like I'm not in love with Bauble as a card. I don't think it's great. Information is not particularly useful usually. We don't benefit from bobbling ourselves at all. This is not like Delver where we benefit from that. So if we did that, then that frees up a slot for us to have another card that's strong. I mean, so this is kind of a tap out deck, which is why I'm not playing Stifle, but you know, I wouldn't be opposed to playing a Stifle. Let's think back to, were there a lot of occasions when we just had, you know, nothing going on? I guess with Tamiyo, like you're frequently creating counters and you can just put them into play. Stifle would have been really good against Jeskai there because we could have stifled like Lorien Revealed to stop them from being able to get white sources and really color screwed them. So I would say we already have 5 artifacts in our deck and they're good artifacts. They're not jank artifacts like Mishra's Bauble. And we have these Thoughtseize. I didn't feel like we needed any more removal. There were situations like against those Null Drifters where I was like, oh man, I really wish these were plows instead of Fatal Push, but I think it's a trap and a mistake to incorporate a 3rd color just to have white exile-based removal. Yeah, I think maybe we add a Stifle because we already have tons of creatures. We got 16 creatures. We never saw Emperor of Bones the entire series, which is sad because it's such a great card. I love this card. I'm not taking it out. I think that there's going to continue to be a whole lot of graveyard based strategies. I do think that the top deck in the format is blue-black Reanimator, just like it was before. Grief got banned. It's a little weaker than it used to be, but it's still quite strong, and it is stronger than this. But a skilled pilot playing this can probably beat a blue-black Reanimator deck like 60% of the time, because we do have 3 now, or 2 to 3. I'm advocating for 3 here. We do have Emperor of Bones. We do have cards like Long Goodbye to deal with Frog. Long Goodbye felt amazing. Yeah, I don't know what other changes I would make. This Hydroblast is super duper situational. I did bring it in against Jeskai Control. Maybe it's worth keeping it in just for that, because it can counter Pyroblast. It can, of course, counter Fourth Aerolingus. If somebody's crazy enough to be playing a permanent like Comet Stellar Pup, it can, counter that. I just feel really exhilarated because I did not think we were going to win against Jeskai. Jeskai is really strong against these kind of creature strategies. Jeskai is much weaker against combo than like Beanstalk decks and things like that, but it's really strong against creature strategies. So I feel like super, super happy that we got that last round. Okay, so I'm not in love with adding Stifle to the deck. Like, Stifle was a card for years that I was just like, Stifle's not playable. It's not a legacy playable card. You're basically like getting lucky and finding a situation where you can 1 mana, sinkhole your opponent. But sinkhole, even at 2 mana, is not a legacy playable card. Going after mana like over a longer period of game, it's not really even going to matter that much, right? Is my thinking. But we could add stuff. Okay, so here's the deal. I want to get enough tickets so that I can build the blue-black Reanimator deck just to show how broken it is. Because here's my suspicion. A lot of my opponents just completely destroy me, and I feel like in many cases I'm a better player than a lot of my opponents are. Sorry if that sounds egotistical, but I often see my Reanimator players just make like really silly kind of like hemorrhaging, like oh, I'm just going to brainstorm without like a perfect brainstorm, or I'm just going to waste during your turn instead of waiting to see what I draw before I waste. Like those kind of like, in my humble opinion, like low intermediate lessons that you're supposed to learn on your path to becoming an advanced legacy player. And so I do kind of like judge an opponent's skill level based on that. Like sometimes I can get them to like waste me a whole bunch, even though I have like a lot of lands in my hand, like intentionally getting the waste land me to slow their own momentum. Little tactics that you can do against relatively inexperienced players that like you go up against Andrea Mangucci, he's just going to laugh in your face if you try to do these things, right? So, I think I'm just going to play another league with this. And if I can get enough chess, I need like 45 tickets, actually 60 tickets, because I need to get a second one of these Undercity Sewers. And I refuse to spend money to build out these decks. Like the other alternative, of course, is to build Blue-Red Delver, which would involve me getting 2 more Volcanic Islands. These cards are not expensive, but the Volcanic Islands are like $20-something. And again, I'm a software engineer. It's not like I couldn't go and like get permission from my wife to buy these things and stuff. But it's just like, on principle, I've already spent so much money on MTGO that I feel like, one of my friends told me, as long as you've got like a 52% win rate on MTGO, you should be able to break even. And I feel like what happens is like, I think I probably maintain like a 50, maybe even a 54, 55% win rate. But I get into this, I wake up and I'm like, man, I really want to try, Leyline Dowser or something. I want to try Nadu, Nadu Breakfast. And next thing you know, I've spent like 80 tickets on something. And so then when I actually lose and I don't have any more tickets left, I actually have to go buy tickets just to play leagues. So what I want to do is get off that treadmill and just play decks that I'm good with. Like this blue-black Nethergoyf deck that I already have all the cards for. That's like really, or actually this one, that's like good against the entire field. Keep playing, build up enough chess, and then just like eventually just not have to spend money on MTGO anymore. Because it is kind of sad. Like when I've spent all my money on silly cards that have depreciated within the MTGO economy, and then I'm just like, oh, no, I have to pay $10 to buy tickets so I can play another league. And it also deters me from playing leagues that are more experimental. Like, I want to play more Aluren. I want to play more, Beanstalk. But Beanstalk just gets crushed right now. Espervile, of course, got crushed. Even though I think did I 4-1 with Ezreal? Yeah, I did. But like that was aberrational. Like I'm not generally going to 4-1. I'm probably expected to lose. You know, it might have like a 40% win rate against the field, right? Temp, same thing. Like it might have like a 40% win rate, because any deck that's 3-color is going to be necessarily handicapped by the presence and ubiquity of like the Daze, Wasteland, Stifle type, cards. And like you're just going to find yourself in situations where you're drawing cards. It's kind of like Stifle Knot. I don't think Stifle Knot is a top deck by any means. Even the blue-white version that's like a more pure combo deck, I don't think this is a top deck by any means. I think this might be like tier 2, tier 3. But if I want to play with this and record cool videos and stuff, I have to accept that I'm going to be like, 2-3ing and stuff like that, or even 1-4ing. And generally, just FYI, if you're curious, like I've never seen you just completely get destroyed. If I get completely destroyed and I go like 0-5 or something, I probably won't post the video because it's not fun to watch somebody just repeatedly lose. So just note that like maybe 1 out of every 3 leagues that I record, I don't actually publish it just because I got completely destroyed, or it was just like I got paired up against Nadu like 5 times in a row and it just wasn't fun to watch, right? So I'm trying to spare you like the more tedious leagues. You're only seeing the best of the best S tier leagues here on the Be Excellent channel. So with that, I hope you have a fantastic day. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.